Okay.
There, we're live now. There we go. Howdy, folks. That makes your sound like gurgle like a weird robot, Steve.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. You worship me anyways.
You're robotic. You should have 5. Yeah. Howdy, folks. How are we all doing? Good. Excellent. That was an intriguing discussion you guys were having. With,
it was?
Well, somewhat. Some of it I heard. Yes, that's much better, Steve. Thank you.
Great.
So the discussion about, why did Judas explode, or could he strangle himself and not commit suicide? That was interesting.
I got to bring up some more significant contradictions, like theological contradictions. I mean, those are more important than on what day did something happen? Friday or Saturday. Who cares about that? But I mean, if you have a theological difference, and that's more significant. I mean, one contradiction is the different theodicies in the Bible. Why do people suffer? There's verses throughout the Bible, particularly in Psalms, that basically says God will reward the righteous and punish the wicked. But in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says the righteous will suffer with the righteous, and the wicked will suffer with the wicked. That it rains on everyone. So it's just different theological views.
I think it's all.
Well, one of the ones that I always loved was from to kind of paraphrase Thomas Paine when he deconstructed all of the Gospels, how Mark talks about, there were earthquakes and the earth went dark and the saints rose out of their graves. It's like, how the fuck do you miss zombies? You'd think the other 3 might have made a passing reference to that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was in Matthew, where
it was sort of Matthew.
Yeah, Marcus has pretty much he dies, and Matthew has earthquakes.
Yeah.
The curtain splits down the middle. That's the curtain, keeping the masses from the Holy of Holies, where only the chief priests can go into. So it's symbolic that that ripped open, so everyone has access to God now. And then all the saints are resurrected, and it's interesting because again you can see the theological purpose. Their graves pop out of the ground, but they have to wait until Sunday morning after Jesus is resurrected. So it's very clumsy story where where Friday their coffins burst out of the ground, but they have to wait till Sunday to be resurrected because Jesus has to be the first fruit of the resurrection. So you can picture some scribes writing down, and then the saints are resurrected Friday, and his boss comes up to him saying, "Whoa, no, you can't have them resurrected. You have to wait until Jesus is resurrected. Change that to after Jesus is resurrected." Because you can see these Gospels were written for theological reasons. There's nothing historical about any of this.
Well, and even then, if you go back to earlier in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in Genesis, in chapter 1, there's one order of creation between man and beast, and then in chapter 2, it's reversed.
Yeah, it's a different story.
That is just one chapter difference, and it's like, guys, come on. I understand it was an oral tradition to start with, but come on, you didn't fix those little things along the way.
Yeah, throughout the Old Testament, there's a battle back and forth between the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom.
Can you guys
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, John.
So they each have their own stories, and they kind of lumped them together. But throughout the Old Testament, you see some books are slanted toward the Northern Kingdom, and some stories are slanted toward the Southern Kingdom, and they're the Northern Kingdom is attacking the Davidic kingdom, and and Judah is against the Samaritans and stuff like that. It's basically politics. It's no different than the Democrats and Republicans of today. Same thing happened back then.
Right.
Where in Genesis is the 2 creation accounts differing?
Genesis 1:1 to Genesis 2:4a. That's the P source, priestly source, and then the J source starts at Genesis 2:4b. A simple way to tell is the P source uses Elohim, the Hebrew word Elohim for God, where the J source uses Yahweh Elohim. So it's a simple way to tell the difference between two stories.
Yeah, but I find it curious that the J source, supposedly written in the 6th century BC, knew about the four rivers, one of which dried up in the 3rd millennium BC.
Yeah, well, Old Testament minimalists think the Old Testament is actually, the stories are actually more ancient than the 3rd century BC or 2nd century, but Old Testament minimalists actually think it was actually constructed and assembled during the Hasmonean period, during the Maccabee rule.
Yeah, I was the one that actually gave you that work. That scholar who proposed the entire Old Testament was written in like the 2nd century BC.
Yeah, but
speaking to Jared though, like where in Genesis 2 does it contradict the animal creation?
I don't remember the passage number itself. It has been a little while since I've actually had to reference the exact passage, but in the King James Version, I remember specifically the order was in one way in chapter 1, where it was, if I remember correctly,
I'll post the order in side chat here.
Yeah, well, I'm on mobile, so I won't be able to see it.
Okay.
But it still is a slight variation, which could just be interpretation from mistranslation of the oral tradition. If I remember correctly, in chapter 1, God created all the beasts, then God created man. And then in chapter 2, God creates man, and then God brings about the beasts for Adam to name them, which would lead to the interpretation that God created man, then created the beasts.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think in chapter 2, verse 4, I think there is a bridge in a continuation of the story that I don't think it's two accounts. I don't think Genesis 2 is about the 6th day. I think it continues on specifically into a particular region, geographical markers that is mentioned in chapter 2. And this would be the Arabian Peninsula. And the pluperfect form with the word yetzer is used with respect to the animals. So when you read like the critical editions like the ESV, the NIV, they actually say God had made these animals, and then they are presented to the human race that happens to be in the Arabian Peninsula in Genesis 2. So the chronology of the account doesn't contradict, actually.
But again, you're looking at ESV and NIV. But in King James, again, this is where a translation issue comes into play, and where a lot of adamant theists that I fear fundy.
Well, don't forget
NIV is not a critical interpretation. It's a very biased evangelical interpretation. They literally take words out of the Hebrew.
Don't forget, the 1600s. You're talking about the best in Hebrew scholarship at the time. They had no concept of the Y-quartal form, and hence the pluperfect tenses. So, critical editions like the ESV and the ISV take note of those Hebrew constructions.
Well, I mean, I think the contradiction stands out in real literal interpretations like NASB and RSV and ESV and so forth. But I think they're two separate stories from two different traditions, and they just married them together. But you can't say that the Genesis 2 account is just a regional story where Genesis 1 is a worldwide event, because in Genesis 2 it talks about how death came about, the reason why childbirth is painful, why men have to work hard, why death came about, why women have to be subordinate to men, and so forth. And why and Eve is the mother of all living, right? So it's just not a little regional event. It's an explanatory story to explain why all these things in the world that we experience came about.
That's why I ended up ditching religion, large in part, was seeing that parallel through world religions over time. Was as soon as we, people don't believe that Zeus throws lightning bolts anymore because we now know where lightning comes from, and et cetera, et cetera. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, well, this biblical story about XYZ is sort of fantastical, but it explains this huge thing that we don't know, so it must make sense. And once like germs and things, we don't think they're demons anymore, and it's like poof, everything made sense at that point.
Yeah, they're bad explanations. That's why
they absolutely are.
That's why and Christianity offers explanations for the way the world is, and they're bad explanations. We have evidence against that. That's why I don't think you can be a Christian except evolution, because Genesis 2 and in accordance to Pauline theology says death came in the world because of man's sin, where in evolution death existed well before man even became on the scene. So I just don't see how they're
Genesis 1 says that.
Where does Genesis 1 say that?
It says it in verse 2, and it also alludes to it in verse 21, and also in 28 and 29, with respect to humans multiplying and filling the earth.
Well, in Genesis 1, it says, be fruitful and multiply. That's what God wants. But in Genesis 2, it doesn't talk about that. In Genesis 2, Yahweh creates Adam basically to tend to his garden. And then he says he needs help. So what was the help he gives him? First, he gives him the animals, and then Yahweh realizes the all-knowing Yahweh has to discover that his helpers aren't good enough. So then he has to make Eve.
Yeah. So David, of all people, commenting on Genesis 1, actually describes death as a natural occurrence in initial creation in Genesis 1.
Where is there any death in Genesis 1?
In verse 2, clearly speaks about the fact that the universe. In Genesis 1 verse 2, it says that there's the Tehom, there's the chaotic waters,
right? That
God has to maintain a struggle. It's called chaos comfort. He has to maintain a struggle between chaos and order, because that's just the way the laws of nature work.
Right.
So you have entropy.
The same root word as Tiamat. So in Genesis 1, you basically have God splitting the chaos monster in half to create the heavens and the earth.
Etymologically, it's not related to Tiamat. I mean, I know people like to make that connection, but even ancient Near Eastern non-Christian scholars will say the imagery is the same, but you don't connect it to mythologies like the splitting of Tiamat. The Genesis 1 authors writing.
Later, I think in the Psalms, it talks about Yahweh defeating I think Leviathan.
That's right. The chaos monster Leviathan.
It's the same sort of story. Again,
in 21,
it's a different tradition. Luke, even if there is death in Genesis 1, it's a different story in Genesis 2. Again,
1 second.
In Genesis 2 and in Pauline theology, it says death came in the world because of man's action.
No. So Paul very clearly, when you read his writings in Romans 5 and then specifically Romans 8. So Romans 5, he says that humanity is now of, in this case, speaking as a Jew, he's speaking of spiritual death. That death was passed to all men because all have sinned. And then around either verse 13 or 14, he speaks about those who were not even related to Adam experienced a similar type of death. case,
Where
a
does
pre-Adamite.
where does it say that? Men not related to Adam. I mean, I know I know the pre-Adamic theory, but I just don't. I don't.
In Romans 5, verse I think it's verse 14, like 2 verses later, and then in Romans 8, when you look at verse 19 and 20, he says the creation, and whenever a Jew says creation, they're thinking of Bereshit, so they're thinking of Genesis chapter 1. The creation is subject to futility, though not by anything it did. So that refutes young creationists that say it was death to enter into it. Paul in Romans 8 is clearly thinking it was already like this. It was already under bondage of decay right at the start, right in Genesis 1:1.
So what's the purpose of Genesis 2? You're basically throwing out Genesis 2 then. I mean, in a lot of Pauline epistles, there's a lot of Marcionite, Gnostic and Marcionite concepts of the God of creation, the God of the Old Testament creation is a not so good God, which is different from the God of Jesus. It talks about the God of this world. I don't think it's talking when Paul talks about the God of this world. I don't think he's talking about Satan. I think he's actually talking about Yahweh, the God of the Old Testament, and the God of Jesus is a different God. I think there's different Marcionite themes within the Pauline epistles, which
that's actually anachronistic, not Calvinist arguments in 2 Corinthians 4. Like again, Second Temple literature, well grounded in what Paul's getting at with the God of this world language. So Genesis 2 is a continuation. When you look at the construction right at the start of verse 4, following from verse 3, it's a continuation into now a new region that's not named, but it gives you geography of 4 rivers, that it doesn't rain, and that there's an underground aquifer. That play the Arabian Peninsula.
I mean, there's one view that Eden was in heaven, that Adam and Eve are actually demigods, and Eve.
No, that's late Islamic mythology.
It's in the Talmud.
Unless you're Mormon and it's Minnesota or something, Missouri, I think that is.
But there's a lot of different views. You always bring up Second Temple Judaism. There are many different views, as there is in Judaism today.
No, it's consistent. There's no many different.
No, I'm saying Second Temple Judaism was not one form of Judaism. There are many forms, and even within the different Jewish sects that they were debating, there are arguments within the Pharisees themselves. And the Pharisees argued with the Sadducees, and of course the Essenes totally separated from the temple cult, waiting for the apocalypse in Qumran.
As far as I know, the only differences they differed on was, in this case, oral tradition with respect to the law.
They different views on resurrection.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. So when the Jews started to become Hellenized, they then started debating with respect to Stoics and if resurrection is possible.
Right. Yeah, there are many different views on the resurrection.
So it's not like
didn't believe in the resurrection at all.
It's not like there's this grand confusion at the time. No, I think they were on point. I mean, they hung out together. They worshiped the same gods.
They were debating. I mean, read the Talmud. Talmud is just like Congress today. It's a bunch of politicians debating, arguing with each other.
Actually, no, that's not the Talmud.
There's not debates in there?
No, there is, but the Talmud is literally what the Jews love to do. It's called pardes. It's form of pesher exegesis, where they take one tiny little point, like for example, like cleaning, like for example, cleaning your hand before you eat. So then they'll literally leave no stone unturned. They literally go through every type of argument as to how to clean your hand, for example. Like that's the type of discussion.
Go on and debate over the smallest little things.
Well, what I find amusing though is that there's all these little rules, and yet there's a whole industry that has evolved on ways to circumvent the rules, as if God wouldn't notice.
You see that thing in the news? It was like a few years back where some Orthodox Jew, he wrapped himself in plastic when he went onto a plane because he was going to fly over cemeteries.
Yes. That's a
rule.
very specific sect, if I recall, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff like that.
Well,
and one Jew didn't sit next to a female on a plane. That was another story.
Well, there's if you've ever seen Religulous, the Bill Maher movie, he goes to this company in Israel, and their whole thing is creating products that circumvent the Talmudic law. So there's like because you can't, flipping a light switch is considered starting a fire on the Sabbath. So they have like automatic light switches for the Sabbath, and phony candles that light on their own so you can have light, and just or the biggest one, I can't remember the name of it, but in larger cities, the Orthodox or Hasidic communities will put a string around, like in Manhattan, apparently there's this huge radius there's a string up in the buildings that circle an area, so that because you're not allowed to carry things outside your home on the Sabbath, so by putting this string around everything, it makes the entire community your quote home, your house, so it's okay to carry stuff in there, which if there was an omnipotent God, omniscient God, he's not going to be fooled by bullshit like that. So I just, the mentality.
But another common thing Jews do is they hire Gentile maids. Why? Because Gentiles can work on the Sabbath.
Yes.
If you hire a Jewish maid, that Jewish maid can't work on the Sabbath. You hire a Gentile, they can serve you on the Sabbath.
Exactly. Like what? But the idea that God would somehow be fooled by this is amazing to me.
Yeah, but you're right, because guess what? The God man actually rebuked them.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Jesus.
true.
Well, he changed his mind.
Yeah.
He what?
God changed his mind.
God changes his mind.
In the Psalms, it says the law is supposed to be perfect and eternal. Where Jesus comes along. Well, the Pharisees were arguing this. The stuff that Jesus proposed was no different than a Pharisee sect were proposing about how to treat the Sabbath and things like that. But you talk about contradictions. Paul is totally against circumcision in his letters, where in Acts he actually recommends to a person to get circumcised. In his epistles, he actually says, "Go and castrate yourself." Yeah, so Acts contradicts Paul's own letters.
Whenever Paul speaks about circumcision, his ultimate argument is that circumcision was a mark that. So there's various forms of circumcision in the ancient world. The Egyptians practiced a form of half circumcision, where the foreskin would hang, and that's why the Israelites had to get a second circumcision in Joshua to be fully circumcised. Paul is like, I see this as a merely physical, finite, temporary, it's a marker to mean I'm identified with Israel. And now the spiritual circumcision is of the heart with Jesus, and therefore, whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised, it means nothing with respect to your faith in Christ. And so that's his main argument. In Acts, I think it's Acts 21, where he gets Timothy or someone to get circumcised. That's because of the fact that, or maybe was it Timothy? I forget now, but basically a Gentile to get into the synagogue in order to communicate something. So what? And he says this in 1 Corinthians, where he says, "To a Jew I became a Jew; to a Gentile I became a Gentile." But he then clarifies in a parenthesis. He says, "But actually, I'm neither one of those in light of Jesus, because he's made like a new way of living.
Be whatever you can just to get converts.
Oh, and I looked it up, and it's called eruv, the big string that goes around the community to make it kosher to carry stuff around.
Don't they do that in Kabbalah? They wear strings around their wrists, and they sell them, of
Yeah,
course.
I don't know what that signifies. I've never really looked into Kabbalah. I know there was a time where a lot of celebrities were into that. I know Madonna was famous for that, but it seems like it's not in vogue anymore.
Yeah, they don't think they had the Shrine of Ruth. They had the headstone of where Ruth was buried, and they wrapped a string all around the tombstone of it to, I guess, to soak in the energy of Ruth, I guess. And then afterwards, they cut it into pieces and sold the individual pieces of string to the people.
Oh, it's a specific string. I thought you could just go and make yourself a red string and wear it. Okay.
Yeah, well, it was red, but I guess it was some sort of I don't know, some event. I guess they paid to participate, but they wrapped a whole lot of string around the tombstone of Ruth. I guess to absorb the energy from the tombstone. I guess, and then
right,
and they cut it up and and sold them individually to the participants there.
That's ridiculous.
It
whatever
says
that is. That's
well. Now Wikipedia says. Let's see. It's a type of talisman, a Jewish folk custom as a way to ward off misfortune brought about by the evil eye. The tradition is popularly thought to be associated with Kabbalah and religious forms of Judaism. It's usually made of scarlet wool thread worn as a bracelet or a band on the left wrist of the wearer, understood in some Kabbalistic theory as the receiving side of the spiritual body. Knotted 7 times, and the person has to knot it 7 times while saying the Kabbalah bracelet prayer.
Oh, wow. Oh, by the way, Florida, I'll be debating Ken Hovind next Monday, your time. I think 10:30 your time.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's going to be hilarious because he's going to argue for I mean, you and I know about the ancient Near Eastern, solid dome. He's going to say there's a literal ice canopy, and I'm going to be like, Kent, that's not a literal ice canopy. That's
Well, I heard some young Earth creations say the firmament, the ice canopy was there, but then at the flood it melted.
Hey, General, I totally forgot. Am I moderating that on your channel or not?
No.
You have somebody?
Richard Bushy is gonna.
Oh, that's right. Richard. Okay.
He wanted to moderate. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. What
is up, my dudes?
Hey, Nath.
Hello.
Oh, huh?
Hello.
So that's on Monday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely be watching that.
And that, in fact, I need a little bit of advice with this. So
I recommend make sure you stay on topic. I would just really focus on.
I would recommend having Edgar take your spot.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Mr. Intelligent Design.
Yeah, Mr. Intelligent Design. Yeah. Because he knows the real intelligence. He'll do a great job.
Okay, so I approached Kent, obviously. Obviously Kent won't approach me. So I approached him saying, hey, I would like to debate you on this topic. Then he's pushing that he will only debate if I go on his channel, not that I host it.
Okay. First of all, you've engaged with him before. Does he remember who you are?
I don't think so. I don't think you're.
I don't think so. Okay, that's fair enough. Because I mean, it was some time ago. Now he wants to have it on his channel. He doesn't want to help drive traffic to other channels. I get that. However, he's been noticing that we've been giving him some really good people to debate, and they're getting high numbers off of it. Negation of Peace will be doing that tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. I would kind of stand your ground on that.
Because I have. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm saying no. I'm wanting to host on my channel, and I can give him a link to a high download, or I can download it in high quality and give it to him. Like no worries.
I've showed him how to toggle in high quality. I showed him step by step. Well, Steve, I showed.
Fucking
That guy. What's
Yeah.
that?
Gotham CRISPR. Oh god, I'm down.
Well, I'm
For
corresponding
me,
to his secretary though.
Oh yeah, get CRISPR in here. I got to ask him something. What now, Drag? Oh, sorry, General. What?
And I was corresponding with his secretary, so I wasn't really specifically talking to him, but
Yeah, Rhonda.
yeah.
Does she know you know? I mean, does she know you're part of the Great Debate community?
I did mention that you know, Steve McRae and so on, but she didn't really like go, oh, okay. She just kind of like just brushed over.
I talk to her all the time. I talk to her
So-
probably. I send like 6 emails to her a day. We've been going back and forth on a couple different things. Just her and I.
So and then she's saying that he only limits himself to 90 minutes.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's actually he's said that to me before. He likes 90-minute
so
debates.
for example, I just received an email from her. So this is what I've agreed to. I said 20 minutes opening. So him and me having 20 minutes opening, and then the remainder will be, you know, discussing it. That Ken can start first, and we discussed the title of the debate, so on and so on. And then she says, yeah, all good except number 2. And number 2 is basically that I want to host on my channel. And so she says, Dr. Holland was adamant about hosting. We've had some problems with others hosting. It is too fresh in his mind for him to budge on this. Let me know if that is a deal breaker.
See, I mean, she's not lying to you. He's only going through with the next 2 debates, negation of P's and KC's, because he already said that he would, and they're going to be on my channel. I don't know if he's going to continue after that, because I know they want to have him on his channel. But the thing is if we capitulate and we start doing it people on his channel, then we lose out.
Yeah.
As a whole, right? And we don't want to give him you know, the power, right? We have the power.
Yeah.
He has to come to people that are smart and intelligent, and he's only finding them.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to be on his channel, because I know what will happen. I know that my presentation will be of lower quality than, you know, than on say your channel or my channel.
Well,
Yeah.
that might
Because
actually,
what will happen is he'll be playing it, like if I'm talking, he'll just be playing it off some speaker, and then that speaker will be recording.
It would not be
the audio.
shown. And that's the problem. Your presentation won't be shown. This is what happens with what's going to, like with Bill. I said, Bill, if he has it on his channel, he's not going to show it. But I think he uploaded it in its entirety. But
Well,
he
he uploaded
a
your
concern.
version, and so that's how Bill's presentation was able to be shown.
right.
and Steve, I mean, thinking about it now and understanding where you're coming from, this might actually be his way of trying to avoid this next debate so he can redirect it back in. You know, he's looking for any way to get out of it,
Right.
i.e., you know, changing the title last minute.
Well, actually, you guys wanted to change the title because of the methodology thing, and then, you know, but that's why I said, you know what, let it go, keep the one you decided on. You both agreed upon that. And then
What exactly was that? Because I forgot what we agreed on to begin with.
which methodology which methodology can better account for morality or something, atheism or Christianity or something, wasn't it?
Okay, that'll work.
More making decisions. That's what it was.
Yeah, I can deal with that because it's specific about methodology, and I mean, if he wants to box me into the atheist position, then I'll go ahead and champion that. I don't care.
That's fine. That's not going to kill your argument, but don't let him conflate atheism with evolutionary theory.
That's exactly the problem, and that's where he
It's the
wants to
same
take it.
thing. Who cares?
Yeah, you can't be an atheist with evolution. Evolution creates atheists. Don't teach it in school. Teach the controversy.
It's funny because
the
a Christian woman
problem
told me
is
evolution.
that, like with the evolution thing, is that there is no.
The soccer cut out for everybody.
Yep.
He was about to say something really profound, and then
Well, it's
Then he
basically
died.
for Kent helping.
Okay, so
Go back and watch
just
all
quickly.
Sorry, no. What I was saying is that you can't agree to a debate about how you can ground morality and evolution, because nobody grounds morality and evolution.
well, that's the
Like,
problem. It's a straw
It's
man.
not a perfect model. It's not like just like, oh yeah, like just how do you come to right or wrong choices, or how do you justify anything as right or wrong? Just like, oh well, because of natural selection.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't let him go down that route. Seriously, don't let him do it.
No, and that's why I wanted to be more specific on the title, because as soon as he was going to go down that route, I was going to say, Kent, remind me again what the title is, because I don't remember Evolution having any part of this whatsoever.
But now that we're talking about the title, he's thinking he can slip that in there. He's a devious guy. You know that. Come on.
Oh, exactly.
But I gave Rhonda your email directly.
Okay.
So you guys can hash it out. I'm just telling you, as the default, keep what you've got. If you guys can come up with something better, I'm all for that. But if not, don't screw yourself out of this.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where I'm going to go. Is I'm just going to go look. You know, I don't want to change this last minute. We've both been preparing for this based on what the original title was. Let's just leave it like it is. Leave atheism in there. Leave methodology. I won't insist on injecting secularism. He doesn't insist on injecting evolution. We're on the same playing field. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Here's the other thing too. Is I think
what is the
I mean,
topic of your
you
debate?
could always just approach it this way as well, where you can just be like, I can't debate that topic because it's not a position I hold. Like,
and that's the other end of it.
Well, that's what I would. Okay, if it gets down to evolution, right? That's the way you would just say that. Say, look, I'm not debating that because I don't believe that evolution necessarily can account for it, so I'm not going to advocate that position. That's fine.
As far as evolution goes in morality, the only role it might ever play in any conversation about morality is explaining why we are moral creatures, or rather, why humans have any sense of morality at all.
Well, yeah,
morality,
you could, sure, but that's a different topic altogether. And I know that's not what education wants.
Right, and that, I mean, we can also just like we're talking about, is that you can talk about graduated morality starting from very basic. In fact, the most altruistic animal out there is going to be a honeybee. Every worker in the colony will sacrifice themselves to defend the queen, which makes perfect sense from an evolutionary standpoint, because the queen is the only one that can propagate or procreate and keep the genetic line going. And then if you look going up through the primate, or going through all the way up to us, there's a graduated sense of morality, or what we would consider moral, up to dolphins, and then all the way back down to any herd species at all. But the problem with doing that is then all he's going to do is go back and try to get into the fossil record, and how do you know evolution is real, and wouldn't the Bible account for this better? That's all side issues. I'm not an evolutionist as far as someone who has studied that from a biological standpoint, or any other real anything that I can bring to the
private definition he uses.
Exactly. Right. So no, we're gonna stay on the same playing field, and we're going to do it from a philosophical standpoint on, let's talk about decision-making methodologies, which I do think I'm fairly up to speed on, and I can bring something to the table. And you would think that having the literal written word of God, not to mention an all-powerful omni-God on his side, he might be somewhat capable of defending morality, something as simple as that.
Well, like I said, I would keep it as is. Don't screw yourself out of it. She's already, she already said, so should we go ahead and cancel this then? I'm like, no, we're not canceling it. Just go back to the default, the original thing, which was which methodology better accounts for moral decision making, and atheist or Christianity. That was the original title.
That'll work.
It sucks, but you know what? Take what you can get, right?
Right.
Because
exactly.
Again, I don't know how many more he's going to do. The KC's might be the last one he does. Although he's trying to do more. He's done some on some other channels, but the problem is that they've gotten like 200 views, 50 views. The ones that KC did got like 50. KC got 50,000 out of it or something. He got like 20.
Damn.
But, yours got 10,000 views. I don't know how many he got on his channel so far, but he knows these things are getting views. So he if he wants to do these kind of things with the great debate community members, it's not going to be on his turf. I would highly discourage that. It can be on other people's channel. I don't care necessarily it's on mine, right? I mean, I'm all happy it's on General's channel. Great. But don't give up that power you have to determine the where it's going to be. That's the whole point of engaging Kent.
Exactly. That, and also don't let him force you into a position that is untenable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way, at least, especially because the other horn that he's going to use on that is, okay, well, maybe you can get subjective morality out of it, but we know that morality is objective, and so defend objective morality from that. Well, number one, no, we don't know it's subjective. In fact, I would argue that all morality is subjective, especially morality based on an omni-god.
If he were to argue that and just treat it as a given, that's a pretty easy point to counter.
Well, and that's the whole thing, is that, but the problem, like we were talking about in the side chat, Nicola, is that he won't allow it to go there. All he's going to do is just keep deflecting and put it off on me that, well, I can see why he wouldn't want to defend that point, because you can't do it with evolution.
That's what
see
he's
how
going to do.
evolution, yeah, how evolution completely
it is
fails.
going to go back to whatever the hell his definition of evolution is.
Well, but and that's why it's so important to make sure that the title is somewhat constrictive and sets some type of bounds, and you've got a fair moderator that when he starts to pull that crap, basically reins him in and says, Kent, we're here to discuss.
I'm happy to keep him on topic. I'm more than happy to. Again, I don't think he's going to be doing these much more after KC, so I'm not too worried about upsetting him. I still have to be fair, obviously. Right. But I don't want him to go down the evolutionary route, only because that's not what the debate's about.
Exactly. That's the whole point, is we're here to talk about methodology. We're here to determine which way is the best way to make moral decisions.
Right.
And if I don't care what you ground it in, but you need to be able to demonstrate why that's the best way. And just saying, because God tells me to do it, okay, well, let's explore that. And that's where I'll get off into Gnome and hang his ass with it.
There's a little cartoon I saw, and I'm going to paraphrase it. It's a little bit different, but there's this, like, in one side it said, like, Christianity, and had this parent talking to the children. Well, you don't want to do bad things because God's going to punish you and send you to everlasting damnation and torment your eternal soul forever in eternity. And then the other one was like the secular. The parents like, don't be a dick. That was
be nice.
Play nice. Don't be a dick. That was it.
It's pretty well the only moral principle that you really have to live your life by is don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
If you do that, you're going to live a good life.
I think so. Don't be a dick.
Out of curiosity, Steve, when you organize these, do you have like a set bunch of rules ahead of time? Because
we have depends.
Sort of.
Like, for example, I have Dr. Ross coming on in September, end of September. When I do those, it is very formalized. I get a written thing from Art Reasons to Believe. I get a thing that I have to read out. I get sample questions that they like to have read, which I get. I can modify them again, but I understand that. It's very, very formal, right? It is very,
Well, what I was thinking, like, I've only had one on my show, but I've tried to organize a couple of other debates. But when we did it, we had very specific things like, no ad hominems and no gish galloping was.
Well, I think those are generally unwritten things.
But I find, like, oftentimes if it's not specific, like gish galloping or something, they'll do it anyway.
I mean, if you're suggesting that one day we should codify these things, I agree.
Right. I was just thinking, like, you guys are postulating how to surreptitiously sort of use the title to keep them on track, which is, if you got to do it, you got to do it. But I'm just saying, would he agree to, I can't talk about this, or that's why yeah.
I don't want to say. I'd rather not say right now. I'd rather not say, "Hey, Kent, you can't talk about evolution."
Right.
Okay. Because then he's going to balk at that. However, because the title we've established initially, it's a shitty title, but we've already established it. They both agreed upon that. So let's go with it. We can use that title to say during the debate, if he goes to evolution, hey, that's not part of the debate. But if you bring it up ahead of time, he might balk a lot more, right? I would even mention evolution at all to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do it. Let's get the going first.
I thought we made a hangout/drinking game about that, Steve.
That strategy sounds the best to me because, like I said in one of the GDC posts, that if you change the title too much, Kent Hovind will just throw a hissy fit. So keeping it as it is, and then just using that against him.
No, I was just curious. I was just curious if there were formal rules engaged like that, or if
it depends on the debate,
right?
But I mean, we should codify it. And by the way, I don't know why we don't. Where did all the viewers go? We took JD's Talking Shit Tuesday, which is, by the way, we're doing fine, JD. Thank you. But everybody kind of left.
Yeah.
Well, but you know why it is? Because a lot of people aren't subbed to this channel yet, so they
That's
don't know
true.
about this channel. That's the reason
It's
why.
new.
But yeah, Steve, I thought we already made a drinking game out of that, which was you bar somebody from using a particular word.
That was fun.
That is
fun.
That.
I like that.
What?
Yeah. What we did was we barred, like, for example, Mr. Intelligent Design, we barred him from using the word intelligence or any type,
Any word which the person generally uses rather vaguely, you ban them from using that word, and then in turn, if they use that word, that person drinks or everyone else drinks, depending on how you want to set up the rules.
It's kind of fun.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So you could just do that with Kent Hovind. Be like, this is a debate and a drinking game for the viewers. So whenever Kent Hovind says evolution, they drink.
We would be drunk within 5 minutes.
At the top of the list. At the top of the list.
Do you want people to get liver cancer or something?
I was hang on one sec, Heavy. I was going to have a rum and coke night, but now I'm just debating. I should just drink. Right.
Welcome to my life, Steve.
Heavy, what are you saying?
I mean, for me, I have a peeve at the top of the list of formal rules. No preaching. He will bounce into preaching in a heartbeat. Oh, you're going to burn it out. You're going to stand before your creator. We're not debating that. We're debating X, Y, and Z.
Actually, Heavy.
I have one question. Let me finish real quick. I have one question though. If someone did debate him on his channel, who would moderate it? Or would he let him?
There isn't any.
Oh shit.
Yeah. There isn't any.
And
Heavy, why don't you spearhead that, Heavy? Why don't you come up with a codification of rules for the typical debate? We can just call them general rules. No gish galloping, no preaching. I'm serious.
My only one would be no preaching.
No ad hom, and insulting is fine. I don't care about insult.
But
you don't
restrict
I still have the list of like the ways that you can forfeit a debate saved on my computer, as well as all the various different
you mean like
formats that we can have.
Like leaving it in the middle?
I still haven't finished going through your debate with Ronnie and figuring out all the ways that he lost that debate.
Like
I'm up to 23 now. And
but wait a minute. Somebody said he won. I don't know by which method they were using. I don't know what metric.
There you go. Steve, you got the perfect person to do it for you right there.
I have a suggestion on the title.
Huh.
The 11 General Rules of Debating.
11.
Why 11?
The 11 General Orders of a Century.
Oh, okay. Well, that's military stuff.
To be honest, my first thought was
God, you think I remember that? Oh my God, I haven't heard that phrase in ages.
I have no
That's
idea
why I
what
thought
that
of it.
means.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to what Heavy
no
was
idea.
saying. If he does go down that preaching road, that would actually, like, so let's say Ned is debating Kent Hovind, and they go down the preaching road, and he says, well, if you don't believe this, you're going to burn in hell. Ned could just turn that around and say, what, you're saying I should obey this to avoid these negative consequences? Are you now a consequentialist?
Well, see, and that's what I was hoping, is that I don't want to ban him from preaching because there's so many ways to attack once he starts doing that. So I want him to go down that road and start to say,
if anything, it should
that's in his closing
fall under a rule of
that's in his closing statements, though.
Topic, because if he's preaching, talking about how you should stop believing in evolution and follow my religion, you'll burn in hell.
Hey, by the way, you're breaking
follow
up.
A faulty argument and consequently.
Yeah, and you're breaking up pretty bad.
Yeah.
You're breaking up. That's why people are walking over you. They can't hear you. Real quick, Jared, I could go. I want you to know I could have gone the rest of my life without hearing that fucking phrase ever again. Just thank you very much for that.
Which phrase?
The 11 General Orders of a Century.
Oh,
you have to memorize in a boot camp, and then you just brain dump it.
See,
purge them from your memory after.
Yeah, I don't remember any. Something like I'll stand my post until I'm relieved properly. Something or other. I don't know. I won't.
Yeah.
kill somebody, and I don't know.
I remember the gist.
Canadian military,
like,
and the Canadian military has to have at least one rule that says we're going to fuck with the Danes.
Doesn't he
Do we?
usually?
Like the Danish.
Do we? Okay. I was gonna say we were gonna have a rule that if we kill someone, we have to say sorry first.
Oh, there's that too.
No, sorry.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry about that.
So we've actually been in, for like, I don't know, the last 100 years, this stupid territorial dispute with Denmark.
Oh yes, the
Over
liquor bottle.
this-
The liquor bottle. Yes.
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 This
Okay.
little barren rock called Hans Island is in northern Canada, and if we go there to do military drills, we inform Denmark that we're going there, and if Denmark's doing that, they inform us that they're going there. And when the Danes go, they leave us these crates of schnapps
I've seen that.
we can
I've
drink.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
And when the Canadians go, we leave a bunch of Canadian Club whiskey and a sign that says "Welcome to Canada."
Yeah, I've seen that. I've actually heard about it. That's kind of cool. Real quick, first of all, let me ask two things. One, should I say fuck rum and coconut? Should I just go get a beer?
Whatever.
Okay.
Whiskey.
I'll take that as a yes. I bought some IPA and I'm really thirsty right now. Two, General Han Solo says, what should I do? I think we've already told you. You do not have it. I can't tell you what to do. I just highly. Well, I can't tell you what to do. You worship me. Don't having a channel. It defeats the whole purpose of everything. And we want them to come to us. It's to promote our channels. You know, and if he gets some residual out of it, that's fine. But and plus you don't want to be on his turf.
Doesn't he usually get the last thing? Doesn't he like having the last, whatever you call it at the end, the closing?
Yeah, he likes to have the other person go first and him have the closing.
Yeah, so see, that's where he does. That's where he throws out all this preaching, so the other person can't say anything about it.
Yeah, at the very end, right? At the very end, you're gonna go to hell. Oh, blah blah blah. And by the way, do you guys real quick? I'm gonna get up here, but do you guys like this more of this great debate community thing where we just all get together on this and just kind of kick it freestyle kind of shit?
Yeah, I do.
It's not like my channel, but I mean, I like this. I like this community thing. I like having different hosts. You know, like this is a a Heretic Woman's thing, obviously though. But you need to give people mods, by the way. So
I don't know how to do that.
Right click.
God.
Click on the little arrow beside their name, and it'll say like give mod controls. Or no, that's the control center, isn't it?
It's in the control center.
See, because you tried to show me how to do it on my own show, Steve, and what you were telling me to look for wasn't there.
You don't see where it says control room to the left?
Okay, a mic test.
Yes.
Okay, so I have the chat popped out.
No, not the chat, in the Hangout itself.
Okay. So Steve, she's saying don't go on Ken's channel.
Let me finish this real quick with her. 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Okay.
It's two things, Heretic. There's the chat moderation, and then there's room control. They're two totally different things.
Okay. Because see, I always just host my show, so I'm always the one.
All right, let me just show you how to do this real quick. Go to the left. On the very left, you see something that says control room. You move your mouse over it. Does the side panel come up? Okay.
Yep.
You open up control room, right? And there'll be on the right a bunch of people with these sliders.
Yeah.
Okay. Click the little arrow, and it'll say share controls and eject.
Okay.
Make sure you get the right one. Share control.
Click eject.
No, I know what happens.
And once you give them control, don't try to give it to them again, because if you're not paying attention, you eject them. Now I have room control. I just saw that.
And also, if you give them controls, you have to be on their ass if every 10 minutes they don't say, I have mods.
Right. Every 10 minutes, everybody that's mods have to say, I have mods, I have mods, I have mods. It's a Darwin's deity thing.
Okay.
I'll
never forget that. I'll never remember that.
It's okay. I got mods. You ain't got to worry about it. Hey, we got a person I don't recognize. JTV. Hello, JTV.
Hello. Hello.
Junior TV. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Benedictus de la cuarta.
Parlez-vous, I was going to say, parlez-vous le français?
Steve,
I am offended by that heretic woman.
Hasta la vista.
Steve, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick on the format. I'm assuming that he's going to go first in the opening statements. Then I'll go first in the questioning round, and then he will go last in closing statements. Is that how it's set up, or?
No. If he goes first in openers, you have the last in the closer.
Okay. That's fine. But the only thing that I really want and I really need for this to work well is after the openers, when we start the back and forth, I need to go first. That's the only thing I care about. I don't care if he wants to go first and last. If he'll just let me have the first.
Then take the opener, because if you have the opener, right? Then he has the opener, and then you said you want to go first.
Well, no, I don't care about the opening statement. What I care about is the back and forth when we're.
You want to go first, right? But if you go first in the opener, you automatically go first in the body.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is if I give him both of those and just say, look, Kent, you can go first and you can go last. I just want the middle, because honestly, that's all that I care about.
Then all you have to, you take the first. He likes somebody to go first.
Oh, he does. I thought he wanted to go first. I thought
he likes to go. He likes to go second, and then he gets the closer.
Okay.
So you go first, then he goes, and then you have your main part. That's what you want.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Then
General, I'll answer your question in a second. I'm gonna go get a beer. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Hey, am I still breaking up right now? Can you guys hear me?
You're a little bit robotic.
I'm on a phone right now.
Steve is bitching in the background.
I know. Sometimes if you're on a phone, if you turn your head away from the microphone at all, it goes weird like that. I've found that with people in the past.
I'm trying not to breathe into the microphone.
Are you using a headset or not?
No.
I would suggest doing it, because I'm mobile and I'm actually using a headset, so I can actually control where the mic is.
Yeah, that's usually better. Because otherwise, you have to act like you're on the phone all the time and talk directly into it, like all the time.
Well, I don't have an analog headset. It goes into one port. I don't have a USB, and I don't think and right now the battery's too low. So even if I grab my micro USB, mini USB to USB converter, whatever it is, USB headset, the battery's really low. So I just wanted to point out that I wrote in what I was saying before. I know some of you guys read it.
Yeah, I took a look at it, and I do agree that no preaching can be better handled in other more specific rules.
Like appealing to the consequences can be valid under certain conditions, but if you're talking about whether or not a methodology is valid, for example, if it leads to absurd conclusions, that can be a valid argument sometimes. So even that rule needs to be more clear.
Just FYI, this is like the stoutest IPA I think I've ever had in my life. Holy crap! It's called Point the Way.
If you want the stoutest beer out there, you need to get Dragon's Milk.
Dude, it's stout as fuck, man.
Wait, ooh, an IPA that actually
6% alcohol.
Dragon's Milk.
Whoever starts writing general debating rules, I'd love to help out in any way that I could. Sounds useful.
Well, let the doctor take that then if he wants to. I don't care. Run them by me, then we'll post them.
The hell am I taking now?
Take how many? Come up with like 10 debating rules or something like that, and then we can post it to the GDC.
That entirely depends on the format, but yeah, I can come up with.
Generally speaking,
like ways that someone could forfeit a debate, or things to avoid during a debate, or things that count.
Things to avoid, yeah. No, we don't allow gift gallop.
Things that would count as points against you were we to conduct like scoring debates.
Not even points, just things to avoid. Gish galloping.
Well, yeah, that's what you would seek to avoid.
Or even like unacceptable behavior, perhaps. Like if you say things
about mothers. Well, if you go like full blown Alex Jones and rip your shirt off and start screaming at everybody, I'm pretty sure you lost the debate.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought that's the way to like have the ultimate mic drop win.
Wow, this beer is bullshit. This is like the
They're putting chemicals in the water. They're turning our children gay.
The fish are turning gay. Oh my God! You can't put contraceptives in the water. The fish are turning gay.
I am a human.
You are a gay fish.
That juice boxes turned children gay.
We got 11 people watch 10 likes. That's a pretty good ratio.
Fuck.
Veronica Veronica had 12 viewers, and she had already like 4 dislikes, and only one person was in the live chat. And then Jade popped in, and then Christopher. But other than that, it was just like the biggest echo chamber I've ever fucking seen. She sat there in her room, and literally, we need to come up with a Veronica bingo. I think Jade's right. She hit on every goddamn canard that she's been running for the last fucking how long? Everyone, Suzuki DOS, ATP synthase proteolipid. You name it, she hit on it. It's fucking this ridiculous.
Steve, you know that my coworkers and I like watching these hangouts while we're at work, or like shortly after work, we'll get together and watch them.
They love me.
Yeah, they do love your channel, but we also like watching Ronnie's channel, and we watch it from my account. We just hook up a nice video cable to the TV. But we've actually made a drinking game surrounding Ronnie's channel. And it's whenever the words ATP synthase are uttered, you drink. 2 weeks ago, I was passed out drunk with my hand in the toilet and my face sitting on the toilet seat after listening to Ronnie's hangout.
I'm just drinking beer because I mean the little I watched of his hangout made me want to drink already because he's just so goddamn stupid.
So between doing that sort of drinking game at Ronnie's and then the Friday night show from Strike, I think I should swear off hard liquor.
Yeah, or you're going to end up having a cirrhosis of the liver. Total Faith is in the live chat. Total Faith, I believe I think Total Faith was actually one of the guys I was trying to explain to Veronica. Maybe she needs to change her approach. Can we get Total Faith in here? Yeah, we don't want to turn the frogs gay. Total Faith, that's a bad thing.
The participation link is in the description.
I don't think Total Faith is a member of the GDC.
No, I put it in the description of the show too.
Oh, well, just remember, you may want to do that because that's how people snipe.
Oh, okay.
Steve.
Hang on, but right now, the people that watch us are generally friends of ours. But don't put the video. Don't give the video link out because they will come and snipe. It's not a big deal. You can
I had a thought.
Yeah, who's calling out my name? Who's worshiping me again?
It's me, your lover from Australia.
Total Faith is a member and a moderator. I don't recognize the name. Is there a different account? I don't recognize Total Faith's name. Okay, go ahead. Whatever. Who's calling my name, please? My supplicant. Okay, go ahead, supplicant. Speak.
It's your lover from down under.
You have my attention. Give me your information.
Me.
Can he not hear me?
Yeah.
General, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's your question?
All right. No, I was just wondering what should I do with the whole Ken Hovind debate? Like, should I?
Okay. Okay. First of all, Total Faith, I know who you are now. Shut your whore mouth. So shut the fuck up. No. You know what? Remind me. I'm gonna have to show you how to give mods in the live chat. So we need to give Total Faith the mods. Hey, because I know who that is. But
okay.
No wonder they were making sense over there on Ronnie's chat. I was like, there's one person that's actually making sense. But Jen, what you should do is what I told you. You cannot capitulate and let him have it on his channel. So
then if I say no, if I respond saying no, he's gonna then say the debate's canceled, and then that's that. I won't pay him.
Well, and until we have this, the next one, and whenever, and then I'll be like, hey, dude, can't you get a lot of views off these things? Why don't you have it on General Han Solo's channel? I'll bring it up to his secretary.
Yeah, can you actually do that if you're in contact with her? Like, actually,
I talk to her like 6-7 times a day.
Well, yeah, but just remind her, be like, hey, you're speaking to General Han Solo, which his name is Robert. Why is Kent allowing himself to be on Steve McRae's channel for negation of P's debate? I think twice, right? And yet he's decided with me he wants it on his channel.
Yeah, I'll have to ask them after the debate, though.
But wait, is that debate this Friday?
It's Thursday.
Okay, so that's like
because he won't back out of the third debate with KC. That's a given. He's not going to do that. That's just too big of a thing.
Yeah. So
and I don't want him to back out of the debate with negation because I worked hard as a personal favor to my good friend negation of P.
This,
to
And
get
like I
this going.
said, I owe you,
And
and I
you-
definitely will repay you for this.
You already no, you already did. You made a video. That's the only thing I asked. You made a nice little shout out. It's even. We're done. We're good.
So
But
I
if you want to get
figured
a
out,
hand job, I'm okay with that too. But
I figured out how to wrench. I figured out how to wrench people. There you go.
I noticed. Yeah.
so now, Steve, I'm just saying, if Kent's able to do a proper hangout where he doesn't like he actually presents me, right? And you can actually see my slides, and I go ahead with it on his channel, which I'm actually all happy to do as long as it's an educational piece for them, for his audience.
Right. I get that. But
how would you guys feel about that?
Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. It takes away our empowerment that we have in order to have him on our channels. You're giving him power.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so the moment you give him in that sense, then he'll always want.
Because we are getting views out of this. We're getting subs, right? And people are talking about this in a good way.
And the thing is, if like the email saying, well, he's insisting, blah blah blah. Well, if it would be unfortunate if yours fell through, but if every time he makes that demand, people say no,
right,
then he's going to change his mind because he's not going to get anywhere.
Right, exactly. The people
so
that he
I'll
has
have to sacrifice for you guys, which I'm happy to do.
Well, you've talked to him before. If you look at the views that he has from the people that go onto his channel, they get about 2,000 hits, maybe 3. They're not getting these 10,000 views, 20,000 views shit, right? We have more pull. You use the collective bargaining power at your disposal. The GDC is a collection. We are a group of people, right? No one person is the GDC.
Yeah.
You have to use that in total.
Can you organize one then, Steve? So it's on your channel then.
I might be able to, but that's something you want to do though. I mean, you want to have it in your channel, and I respect that. I have no issue with that.
No, I want it on my channel. Okay, the reason why I wanted my channel is because obviously I didn't want to bother anyone. That's the first point. And secondly, I'm of the same wavelength, mindset as to what you're saying, and that is, I don't want traffic on his channel. I want traffic outside his channel.
Well,
right.
Whether it's your channel, my channel.
I would have, what's his name? Richard Busey? Richard what? Who'd you get to moderate?
Richard. Yeah. So Richard was able to bring him on his channel, but he got so smashed in that debate with Luke, which I linked.
Yeah, I saw that, but that didn't get a lot of views.
That I'm wondering. I know, but that's my point. He really got owned in that.
Right, but if that would have been on my channel, and I'm just saying, that would have got a lot more exposure.
Yeah,
that's kind of the goal, is to expose Hovind for.
And that's why what I was thinking when General was talking about his dilemma was, well, if the goal is to keep Hovind off his own channel, then perhaps offering yours, Steve, would be a good compromise because he doesn't mind your channel.
And Richard could be the moderator. I could just basically I could just.
No, if it's on your channel,
I don't care. I don't know, dude. I don't care. I'd rather not in that kind. If it's that kind of debate with you two, let Richard do it. I have no problem with that. Right? Yeah.
No, that's true.
But all I gotta say is let's get through this negation of P1 first, because I don't want that one being fucked up, because that took a lot of finagling, a lot of coaxing, because at first they said no.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to interfere with that. I like you guys do your thing. This one apparently he's given the date for next Monday, 31st your time, like 10:30 your time, Central Time.
Yeah.
And
by the way, are you gonna be able to get on the panel? It's gonna be 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. At the end of September. I don't remember the exact date, but you think if you could set that aside to talk to Dr. Ross?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I'm setting up a panel for that.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Rana is going to be on end of August. They're going to be on separate times.
Yeah, I saw your Facebook. He replied on Facebook a video.
Did he say that? Did he? He put out some nice shout outs to me in the channel.
It's just like these guys are like
I couldn't believe it.
They provide inquiring discussions, open-mindedness. Like, it's a fair dialogue. There's no shame in.
Well, even Ruyev had mentioned on there. He's like, man, I may not. He even put on the Facebook. He said, hey Fuzz, I may not agree with you on everything, but dude, this is what sets RTB aside or away from like answers in Genesis. You know, that
Yeah.
you're ready to do this stuff. And I actually had somebody message me privately, and they said, "Hey, Steve, I got to tell you something. I was really concerned that your friendship with Rana was cloud your judgment in putting his feet to the fire." He's like, "But the questions you've been asking him are awesome, and that you're not afraid to ask him the questions you would ask anybody else."
Yeah.
And I'm not.
No, but
Yeah.
remember, Steve, some time ago, like you were kind of skeptical because you're wondering, like, did he like it? Did he enjoy it? Did he like the community? And remember how I said I know him long enough to know his body language.
Yeah.
Here's like, from the horse's mouth. He himself is saying what he thinks.
Oh, I know. And matter of fact, they made special allocation to try to get Ross back in. He was kind of booked up, but he really wanted to come back on and talk about his book.
Does he like the community?
Oh, he
yeah.
loves the GDC.
Yeah,
he loves this type of format.
I told Steve ages ago.
awesome.
I was like Fuzz was entirely impressed by it, but because the reason why they're impressed, okay, put it this way. Those are actually, like, apart from the whole Christian thing, they are legitimate scholars, like academics. They're trained in that field. And if you think about it, if it's a small team, and all they do is research stuff and talk amongst themselves, they have no outlet. The only outlet is in churches that are full of laymen's that will ask pretty basic, and they just need a proper outlet. And it just so happens that and let's be honest, the Great Debate is one of the first, like, cyber, like an equivalent to an Angerberg show, but it's full of people that are of educated fields, mostly atheists as well. And now it's kind of like, wow, now we've even though we're late in the game, so to speak, and the internet is like obviously Hugh Ross is 70 plus years old now, but the point is now they finally have, like, an outlet.
I wished him
Right.
happy birthday yesterday. Yeah.
It's 2017, and an outlet like this didn't exist yet.
No,
really.
because
There's been lots of
because if you
communities of
think
people
about it,
debating, but a
if you think about it-
community for people debating with different ideas from different circles.
if
It's
you-
funny to think that hasn't already taken off.
No, if you think about it, so on TV show like Ankerberg, which Hugh Ross has been on, or in any form of community back in the 80s and 90s where it's just purely lecture style speaking, where maybe it's just an audio recording, the audience is such that you're not really engaging with a panel of, like, say, PhDs. That's very few. That happens very rarely. And then and here's the point: to have it, like, worldwide, like the panel that Steve McRae gathers together with educated people, and as Hugh Ross says, educated people from around the world sit together in one moment before, and so that's the point, and so that's the proper outlet, for their work.
And then that's the goal that I'm going for. I mean, that's what I wanted from my initial thing of the Great Debate community, to collect a bunch of people and then have them all together and have good conversations. And I think we've succeeded on that. And I think they've recognized that they don't get the challenging questions from most people in their day to day, and they get some here and there on Facebook, but they don't get the interaction they got, like, here in the Hangout. They never experienced that before. We don't have to fly anywhere. We can do it from the studio.
Exactly.
It's a panel. It's actually engaging.
And that's another thing Hugh Ross is saying, is because they purely made that studio just for the sake of making DVDs, right, like presentations. And then it occurred to them that all that time taken in flying to places and so on can actually be better spent on research, because now, because of things like the Great Debate, we can literally just go 30 seconds across into the next hall and literally sit in the studio and it's as if we're having, like, a panel discussion across the world. And it's great. It's really efficient.
And they've been doing other things like that too, but not they haven't really done Google Hangouts, but they've done, like, I think, Skype things. But I think it's great. I'm thrilled to death that they like our community. They've been really good to us, and that's why I have to make sure that the panel members we get are able to ask tough questions, but do so respectfully, right?
Yeah. No, it's they want the tough questions because because they're like true scientists. They want to receive questions that they may not have answers to, so that they can go and research it in order to see if there's possible solutions.
Fuzz does not treat us like idiots. Matter of fact, he actually has said, Steve, I really want you to critique this. I'd like, he wants us to get feedback to him. He's taken my questions very seriously. He acknowledged that they're decent questions. And I think they're the same questions we would ask anybody advocating his type of position. But at least he'll try to answer them. If I give my questions to like a younger creationist like Tompkins, he avoids that's like the freaking plague.
Yeah.
Even though he said he'd come on, right? They don't want to answer the tough questions.
Hey, Steve, I just got a quick Ronnie update.
Yes, my minion. Yes, my minion.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm kind of listening to this and watching that as well. I'm not sure what's going on.
Is he still live?
Yeah, he's still live.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, really?
I'm not sure what's going on, but I think he's blocked Matthew 4:19 from the chat now.
Nice.
So I don't know what's going on.
Is he by himself in there?
Yeah, he's still by himself.
He's by himself in there, and I'm pretty sure that he's about to block Matt Yester.
Wait,
I haven't seen Matthew 4:19 in ages. Oh, is he Soul Prince?
Is this True Prism?
Yeah, he says you all. I just looked. He says you're all going to be banned if you keep trolling. His message deleted. Message deleted. Message deleted. Message deleted. He deleted. Wait, he wait. Arcane Logos. He blocked Arcane Logos.
My Google Hangout, miss. What's the Ronnie update?
Do you guys? I mean, here. This is his Hangout. I haven't turned back to it, but one sec. How could he sit there and monologue for? He's going on 2 hours by himself monologuing.
Wow.
No fucking way.
I do my own fucking show, but I couldn't sit there and talk to myself for more than like maybe 10 minutes, if that.
Oh, now he's playing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He's got a lot of pent up stupidity.
Apparently.
He's making a video about drag and
he's got a rage
drag
for
college
drag right now.
Well, he started off hard on for me. Now it's drag. Oh, Veronica, I'm telling you, girl, you need to move on. Seriously, this is getting to the point where it's stockish.
Why has no one made a meme of like photoshopping Ronnie's face onto Veronica on an Archie comic yet?
I keep crashing.
Oh God.
I guess we needed Betty first, so we could have Betty and Veronica.
Oh. Wait, who was that? G-Man
Veronica.
has to be Betty.
What? Oh yeah, no, G-Man definitely has to be Betty. So like G-Man goes into TST, right? And everybody's like, okay, fine, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What stupid thing to do, but people have a conversation. He's more than willing to engage on the topic. He asks for a minute or two to respond, and then he starts off on a other topic, and he just he leaves. I think he got ejected, but I don't know.
No, he was ejected. JD Kane said,
He said he did, but then at the end he said no, he left. I was like, bullshit. I think he kicked him. But literally, Veronica's sitting in her hangout, just having a sad. I mean, that me and drag are such evil people. And he said, well, Steve's just, he does this for the money. Well, no shit. I've been very, very clear about that. Fuck, this is my only income. This is my full-time job, is making the Great Debate community something over a period of a couple years. It's probably going to take. I'm actually trying to make something, but not just benefits me. This benefits everyone. Again, the Great Debate community is not one person. It is a collective. It does not include you, Veronica. Veronica, you are not a member of the Great Debate community. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're part of the overall arching external, expanded one. But you are not a member of our clan, our group, our tribe, our family, our friends. You are just not. Stop saying that you are by saying your community.
It's almost like a paycheck and doing something good aren't mutually exclusive.
I don't get it.
You get paid for this.
That's what
people know how much time I put into this shit. I mean, Heretic Woman, you have a show. It takes time.
Yes.
Now time's that by like 10 or 20.
Yeah, it takes a fuckload of work, and I have 3 co-hosts that I can schlep stuff off onto.
Yeah,
Like-
I don't really have that many people to delegate, but I mean, I got the page going, I've got the wiki going. I'm not doing anything to earn my keep. Okay.
Well, and this is what I don't understand is like, oh, so you get paid for something. Does that suddenly make it bad or wrong or untrue or you
Makes
know?
you a
Like,
whore.
yeah. Oh, you're a whore. Woo, like that's a bad.
I don't
thing.
go out every day soliciting. I mean, I might say throw a couple bucks in here and there, but I've said numerous times between my Patreon and my ad revenue that went back up, I'm not in a bad position.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm okay. I don't ask for anything more than I really need, right?
Oh.
I'm not fucking Brett Keane. I've had people tell me,
or you're not out there, you know, hey people, I need a new jet because you know I have to.
well, I asked for a Gulfstream, but that you know.
Yeah, do you know how much money you could be making right now, Steve, if you just decided to flip to become a younger?
I would be.
$5
Oh my
faith healer?
god. Oh my god. People would inundate me with money.
You'd be the fucking president come next election.
I've got my initial setup. People bought me a chair, monitor, computer. I mean, all the stuff I needed, you know, to get going. But after that, I haven't put anything on my Amazon list. There's not been nothing I need. I mean, there's something wants, right? I want a guitar, but that's not a need.
So you can tune it during debates with Ronnie?
Yeah, I can tune it for debates with Ronnie. That's the only reason. You know, but I do want a guitar, but that's a present. That's a gift. That's something that has nothing to do with the Great Debate community. All the other stuff that's been given to me is gone to helping me with the Great Debate community.
You just want a regular six-string?
Why Veronica doesn't see that. What's that?
You just want a regular 6-string guitar?
Electric.
Yeah, okay. I could probably just mail you a Squire that I have sitting around somewhere.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned something. I totally forgot about that. You said something about the car.
I have a bunch of musical equipment that I don't use.
Yeah, I have to talk to you about that. It's I actually wouldn't. I might want to take you up on that because I do want a guitar really bad. Because I just miss playing. It's the only. I don't have anything that I. If you ask Rui, my room is really small. I mean, he came over, we chilled. I have nothing, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm a minimalist. But one thing I do want is a guitar. So, but I don't want that much. I've had some stuff before. I am a minimalist anymore. I don't care. I just want to be happy. I want this to succeed. I want people to be recognized. Yeah. But it's a good thing. I mean, look at if Negation of P, who is a moderately sized channel, small to moderate, if all of a sudden people around the world were like, hey, you know that Negation of P from the Great Debate community, that motherfucker really understands, you know, morals and stuff like that. That'd be awesome. Right? You know that bitch heretic woman? That chick, she really got a great show, you know? You would love that.
And don't forget, I'm the stunt fuck too.
Oh no, you're the substitute fuck.
Substitute fuck.
Yeah, do you guys know how that worked, by the way? Watch, Zaka.
Is that the stunt double for a porno flick?
No, if you don't want to say the word fuck, she'll do it for you.
Yeah, like fuck that. Fucking right, I will.
She's a substitute fucker.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
There's some people that don't want to curse.
Yeah.
And I respect
they'll
that.
be like, they'll like, you know, oh that, yeah, and I'll be like, fucker.
Yeah. So she's a substitute fucker.
Yeah.
Nice.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yesterday just got deleted.
Job in the world.
Shit.
Who's this Mr. Crust person? I've seen them bitching about stuff lately.
I know that name. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
So
well,
wait, did she play a video?
I don't know. It was I think this year's Sunday show where he was in there bitching about Bible stuff. I don't know. Right now he's just saying that he's like saying true empiricism is showing how drag is lying through his tooth again.
Remember, this is the person who said that he had a master's level education in biology, and he doesn't know what the fuck the plural word for tooth is.
He doesn't know what the plural word for atheist is. Oh wait, you know he calls it
pronounces Kent Hovind's name like he's trying to refer to some kind of promiscuous cow.
He keeps calling it the atheist with an S experience. Why is that?
I don't know.
It's the
Are
atheist.
you talking about Veronica here? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched like 1.5 videos and was like, "Fuck that."
Hey, Drag, are you still here or is Drag AFK?
I stepped into Matt's theist experience show for like 20 minutes. I see now why Google Hangouts kept crashing every time I tried to join. They were trying to protect me.
It was a warning mechanism.
Are you talking about Matt Slick?
No, not Matt Slick. The rational theist Matt.
Oh, that guy. Yes. Yes.
Why the hell would you bother arguing with the turtle?
Because I literally know nothing about him, and I was kind of bored, and I wanted to do. I felt like being in a hangout for a few minutes and seeing whether or not being an asshole to him is warranted, and I would say it moderately is.
His personality appears. His personality is just like how he looks.
That wasn't. What's that? Sorry. What were we saying?
I was just saying.
I'm not
that
a great verbal
Matt is a
debater.
walking, talking cunt.
Oh, that wasn't the real. That wasn't the real Matthew 4:19, but that was the real one-way apologetics. I think. Oh, let me know.
I'm not a great verbal debater. I didn't do terribly well, and it's not like I popped into the conversation prepared. But he eventually kicked me when I told him I was going to start speaking for the next minute. I don't care if he starts talking, because I was getting tired of being interrupted and being unable to flesh out a point or a position. And so as soon as I finished saying that, he kicked me. I didn't watch the stream whether or not he started bad-mouthing me afterwards, because I didn't give a shit.
Ronnie's got 27 dislikes. Holy shit.
What were you talking to him
How's that
about?
possible? He's only got 16 people watching.
Because a lot of people started watching, thought it was
Holy
shit.
Yeah.
And hit the dislike button.
It is
It's funny
so
too, because he
shit.
thinks that like, oh, we just preemptively dislike the videos. No. There have been videos of Ronnie's that I've liked, and I've clicked the like button.
I don't know if I've uploaded too many of his. I have G-Man's. I liked his BHI ones that he had, and he was on a bike. I like that one.
Whatever happened with
Matt
that?
and I.
No idea.
Yeah, you guys.
No, go ahead. I asked you the question. So, what did you guys talk about?
I talked a minute ago. I was talking about how I popped into the Theist Experience hosted by the quote-unquote rational theist Matt.
Yeah, what were you trying to argue with him about?
What a theory is in science. He kept saying it's just repeatedly confirmed hypothesis, and I kept trying to explain to him the difference between a single unit of data, like a single fact that starts out as a hypothesis and is tested and confirmed, versus a claim or an idea that is itself
He's an idiot.
like an idea supported by a body of facts.
Yeah,
you guys know what
hypothesis is an explanation of something. It's a conjecture that's going to be repeated by experiment, and then after a certain amount of time, it could either be incorporated into a theory or made into a theory, depending on the situation. But a theory and a hypothesis are not the same thing by any means. He's an idiot.
No, I'll have to object to that. He's not an idiot. He's just an asshole.
I told him I'm going to college. He had at a couple different points gave me shit about that, and basically indicated how he expects me to find out how much of a fucktard I am once I start going to college, which, by the way, is very simple. And I told him I bet next semester's tuition that I'm right. Not that I would actually do that, but
yeah, well.
What's funny is he does the whole the theist experience there, and how many episodes has he done?
Like 5, deletes them now because nobody watches.
He's deleted all
I've
of them.
downloaded every single one of them.
Yeah, it's funny.
Wow.
I love the re-uploads. Okay, that he's that Joe Sonsi just put up recently. Yeah, if you go to his channel, you can see all these old.
I noticed that. Yeah.
These old Matt Bell videos, and they're funny because like if you watch these videos and true, like some of the positions that he was arguing for in those hangouts, he doesn't hold anymore. That he has enough common sense that he finally realized, oh shit, this is a stupid position. I shouldn't hold this. But what's funny is how much he held on to them. Like he would, like, anybody that would like question him or whatever, they were fucking idiots. They're stupid. Oh, you need an education. You need to learn. You need to do all this other stuff. And then he quietly backs away from these positions and whatever later down the road when he realizes that the entire time he was an idiot.
Well, Bell doesn't even like to take stances anymore. I mean, he likes to be like he likes to do the old.
He's an opportunist.
Yeah, he's definitely an opportunist, but he's doing what's his name did. Shamos.
Shamos.
Yeah,
I mean, being
taking that route. Yeah, totally dishonest. Oh, I'm not going to call myself a Christian, so I don't get burdened.
I'm not a Christian. I believe Jesus was God, that he died.
Oh, that drives me.
You know, I'm not.
That drives me fucking crazy when it's like, well, don't call me a Christian. I'm like, well, you believe in Jesus. Yes, I follow Jesus, but don't call me a Christian. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes, like, just pick a fucking.
Well, wait. Didn't Christ say there'd be people at the end that denied his name? I mean,
it is actually funny because they're kind of doing what G-Man did, which is they are committing a kind of heresy in their Hebrews.
Yeah.
It's not a religion, it's a relationship.
They're trying to prove a point.
Yeah, they're trying to say that,
but they're blaspheming God at the same time.
Yeah, but they're trying to say, well, we think religion is corrupt and I follow Jesus in his pure form and all of this bullshit. But it's like, you can't just get rid of the entire religion that goes with it because you disagree with some of it. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Hey, can I put out what Ned just put out? Ned, can I talk about what you just put in the group chat? I know you mentioned it before, but that's awesome.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Okay. So Ned had this little. He has this little. Hang on a sec. He had this little. He's this web page, and this web page is trying to get people to lose weight. And one of the reasons we have a carrot and stick approach kind of thing, and basically what it does is that if you don't meet a certain goal, you have to give money to somebody like you can't stand. Like in this case, he's offered to give money to Matt Slick if he doesn't lose the weight, as an incentive to lose the weight. And he just said he's not only had to not pay Matt Slick a dime, but he's lost over 10 pounds so far. That's awesome.
Oh, good job.
That's awesome.
The way it works is you give them whoever you want to pay, or specifically who you don't want to pay. Then you give them a credit card, and once you hit start, they're paying them unless you can prove that you're meeting your goal. And it doesn't necessarily be weight loss; it can be anything. So I picked the person that I most despise, which happens to be Matt Slick. And like I said, every week that I weigh in, it's double the pleasure. Because on one hand, I lost some weight, and on the second hand, I know I screwed Matt Slick out of $10. So
it's a double thing. Yeah,
exactly.
What the hell kind of utopia do you live in? What the hell kind of utopia do you live in where Matt Slick is the person that you most despise? You live in America. There is the Westboro Baptist Church in your country.
He's got a point.
Well, exactly. But I've got personal history with Matt, which pushes me over the top with him.
That's
so
fair.
You know that's the problem.
It's the Westboro Baptist Church. They you know what? They're so hated they hate themselves.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That.
They literally do.
Everyone in Canada used that website. ISIS would be able to buy its own country by now.
Yeah.
So real quick, does anyone have a link to Rational Theist Matt's channel? Is the one that I appeared in still up on his channel?
I think he took them all down.
No, it's gone.
Why is he taking them down?
Because they're idiots.
Because they're embarrassing.
They're embarrassing him. He looks like an idiot.
The one from today is still up. Check around the 30-minute mark, I think is when I popped in.
Rational Theist Matt's face looks like a belt.
So Veronica's just going through his live chat going, message deleted, message deleted, message deleted, message deleted. Now, I hear you guys. I'll bet you guys money. How much you want to bet? I'll give you 2-to-1 odds that he's going to say, oh, look at all these Steve's accounts. And I've not left this
I'm not
channel.
taking that.
I am not left. I have not gone to any other account since I came in here. This is just me down here. You guys can see I'm not on any other account. None of these are mine. And yeah, I guarantee he's gonna be like, "Oh, this is Steve," or he just ended the hangout. Like, "Oh, look at Steve. He's on these different sock accounts." No, when I'm on a sock account, I tell him I'm on a fucking sock account.
Yeah.
Why? What's the point of being on a sock account and telling him? I'm just curious.
Oh, because I don't want him to like, "Oh, look at Steve. He's hiding me on a sock account." I'm like, I'm on a sock account because you blocked on my other ones, and I want to say something because you're saying shit about me, and I want to address it, dumb motherfucker.
Fair enough.
Which is fair. You know, I mean, if you provide, if you talk shit about people and then prevent them from rebutting you, what do you expect?
That's called being a coward.
Yeah.
And just like that, his video is downloaded.
Did you download it already?
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Because they'll delete it too soon.
Whose video? Veronica's video?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like, we don't ever prevent any of these guys from coming in. It's like, yeah, okay, go ahead. But then they're like, oh, they're scared of us. They won't come into our rooms. No, I'm not.
You know, that's really starting to.
I'm trying to join Ronnie's room, and I kept telling him in the live chat, your link is broken, your link is broken, your link is broken. You need to add me to the Hangout manually. He keeps going, oh, there's no one in the live chat who wants to come in. Oh, no.
I saw that. I'm witness to that. You actually said in the live chat, hey, I'm trying to get in. Basically, the link is not working. It's broken. He ignored you.
Yeah. He doesn't like the points that I have to raise to him.
All right. I need another beer. Be right back.
You know, I've been encountering this a lot lately. Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying, can anyone tell me whether or not Matt's video is still up? If they have a link to his channel.
I don't have it. I think Sokka had it, and he's run away.
Oh, you know, I just remember I could probably just find it by scrolling through the GDC.
You can just scroll through the GDC community, and you'll find his channel.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Wait, listen. Can you guys hear this?
What, you opened a beer?
Oh, shit. Yeah, now it's spilling everywhere. I guess this one was a little shaken up. Ah, shit. Only 12-ounce cans, too, but oh, that's cold. I got beer all over me. Shit. Oh.
What else is new?
Oh, there's somebody in the external chat called True Blue Bullshit TV.
Yeah, I would give him a spanner.
I just blocked 14 people in my hang, so I'm a hero.
Yay! Hero.
Nice.
That's YouTube hero for you, yes. Well, you know, I tell you what, hey, True Bullshit TV, if you can block 14 people in a hangout, that means you automatically have disproved evolutionary theory.
Say again?
Yeah, it's true. It's written. If you block 14 people in your live chat, you win a Nobel Prize for refuting evolutionary theory.
Oh, there you go.
You know that? It's true. Go look it up. I wouldn't lie to you. It's on the internet.
Granted, that requires that you have at least 14 people who give enough shit to watch your channel.
he's like
for True Talk TV, he doesn't have that.
You know, he says, after I blocked him, I invited him in. That's what I try to do, too. I block everybody, and then I say, okay, can you please, come on in, we'll chat. Oh, look at the motherfucker. He doesn't want to come in. Look at this. You see this? Coward.
That's why I save all of the
this
live
video
chats.
removed.
Which one? Was that Matt Slick's or Ronnie's? Oh. Yeah, I told you he deleted all his shit. Or at least blocks him.
Well, the first video that Rational Theist Matt did, nobody joined, with the exception of Blue, like 2.5 hours in.
Yeah, he sat in his room for like 2 hours by himself, just waiting for somebody.
Dead air. It was 2.5 hours of him bitching at memes and.
No, wasn't he? Was just sitting there dead air.
Shit.
That's all I heard.
No, there were segments of dead air, but there were times where he was actually like complaining, like, "Look at this atheist meme."
Wow! Like
this stupid constant new what the kalam is.
Atheist is stupid.
I think it really speaks for theism when you can say that the atheist experience is at least prepared with material to talk about at the beginning of their shows before they go to viewer calls. Meanwhile,
sometimes they just go straight to viewer calls.
But again, look at these. What they're bitching about. I mean, GMAT has not. I've said this a million times, but there's a point to be made. GMAT has 9,000 subs. He gets about 25 viewers. Ronnie has about 2,000 subs. I'm guessing. I have no idea because he won't show. I think he probably have more subs than he does now. But assuming he has 2,000 subs, he gets around 14, 15. Talking Shit Tuesday has, I don't know, 1,600, 1,800 subs. They had 100 today, over 100. And that's normal.
Yeah.
They peaked at 110 today.
What?
They peaked at like 110
yeah,
today.
And I get the same. That's a much better ratio than somebody like Ronnie's channel. Much better, right? We like getting to triple digits watching.
No, because Ronnie assures me he gets more views for his content than you.
No, he doesn't. That's
I know he
that
doesn't.
doesn't even go validate
How the
social
fuck
blade.
is he gonna get? How the fuck is he gonna get views if he deletes everything?
Yeah, and does he not? Yeah, she doesn't realize that when she makes a video private, she loses all those views.
Well, what was
Yeah.
particularly funny about it was I actually did do the math on, and I broke it down by subscription base based on the last reported subscription count by Social Blade. And True Empiricism had 196 subscribers at the last time.
Right, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. And we're talking about the content that people produce. So it's like something that you actually put together, something you actually put real effort into and provided commentary or tried to drive home a point. If we take away True Empiricism's most viewed video, True loses 45,000 views from his total view count on his channel. Because it's just a clip of William Lane Craig talking.
Right.
No effort put in. It was just, let's slap this bitch into iMovie and chop it up into a 5-minute segment. That's it.
No creativity whatsoever.
No creativity. Not even the damn context. No commentary.
Did you
captions. Nothing.
Did you hear G-Man? So when's the last time Steve made an original video? What the fuck? Have you? I just made one about him. He watched not too long ago called G-Man, You're a Liar or something. And I made one on
G-Man and the Ninth Commandment.
Yeah, G-Man and the Ninth Commandment. And I made one called Anthology of a Liar by Ronnie. I made a lot of videos on my own. They don't get many views, but they don't watch them. G-Man actually saw that particular video. But then says, oh, well, Steve doesn't make any original videos. Yeah, I do. The problem is they just don't get as many hits and views as he hangouts. I don't know why.
They actually do fairly well if you work out what the average is for like original content as opposed to hangouts for people. They break about just above average if you calculate that out.
No, my originals don't get anywhere near my well, the older ones, the older originals.
Not anymore, no, because nobody's going to go through like a YouTube channel that they now like and like.
But that one I made on G-Man, I thought would have got a lot more hits. I thought it was a good video. People liked it. It wasn't a bad video.
Yeah,
it didn't get much circulation. Unless a video is shared, it doesn't do me much good. A video has to be shared. It has to be the video link. The URL has to be put on Facebook, G+, Blogger, Stumbled Upon, Twitter, whatever. If that link is shared, it goes into the algorithm. That's how you get ranking, is when they share your videos. That's what's called trending. That's why when the Hovind video was out, that actually hit trending on Trendalizer because people were sharing that video. I can tell you right now, I can go and look. I have a program that tells me everybody who's ever shared my video.
Hey, we got Apologia in the chat there asking about the Hovind Casey debate.
Yeah, that's a good question. Casey was supposed to have it up yesterday. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Wait, did the debate already happen?
No, it's on August 11th. But I asked Casey on Friday. I said, "Are you going to have this? You think it's going to have this your video done by Monday?" He said, "Yeah, certainly." This is already Tuesday now, and he still hasn't have it. Maybe Apologia. Maybe you should send a message to Casey and just ask him. How's it going? How's the trailer going?
I saw KC in a video, not in a video recently. I can't remember which one it was though. Like a couple days ago.
I had no idea. I mean, I know Casey dropped into to Veronica's room. Hey, Brian Stevens.
Yo,
¿cómo estás?
You're muted.
Bien. Muy bien. Yeah. Suez muted.
Yeah, there we go.
No escuche. Yeah, my slang language sucks. Now he's going to say his mic's not working or he's just fucking with us. I don't know. One or the other.
Oh, now he's run away. He's, yeah.
So guys, I got a thing tomorrow talking to an advisor for slash counselor for college admissions. So wish me luck on that.
Cool.
We wish you luck. Kick some ass.
Oh, Brian's getting a mic set up by the look of it.
Ah, okay. technical
I want to get
stuff.
that college education that'll allow me to do cool things in science and also online.
Not really. No, don't get confused the way that's not how it works. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Apologies.
No, don't hear you, Brian. Not yet.
Hit F5. You might have to reset it. If you yell really loud, maybe.
Or make sure you check your Hangout settings.
Here, we'll be able to hear you just fine if you turn on the Alex
It's on the
Jones
Yeti now.
button in your voice.
There we go. There we go.
Just real quick, Apologia. I will give Casey till the end of the week, and then what I might do, because Apologia made a trailer that was specifically designed to get me subs, and hopefully Apologia some as well. I might reach out to somebody like maybe Logic or somebody else with a big name channel, and then them have just play the trailer. I don't want, it's not going to go to waste, but I might be able to pull a few strings and get somebody else to play the trailer, because I'm not going to let that trailer go to waste. It's not going to happen. It's a good trailer. Anyways, hey Brian.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm just sitting in for the moment. I might ask a question or join in, but I'll let you guys have at while I sit back.
By all means, that's what we're here. We're here to answer questions and talk shit.
And I think we just lost the gentleman. He was saying before in our logic questions that he's 18 or so, and he's applying to college. Did I hear?
Yep, he's back. Hang on, let me get him in here.
Sorry, Hangouts crashed. Did someone mention reaching out to Logic? I actually know his wife, Edith, on Skype.
I do. I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway, was someone talking about me?
Yeah. I don't broadcast it too publicly because I don't want too much of my info out there, but I teach college. I teach mathematics and statistics. So when all those logic things were going on today, I was like, yes, logic and math and statistics. So that's what I do.
And that one subject that we all had to take that we all hate? Great. Yeah.
I can't beat on myself too much for not being able to answer those brain teasers, considering the people who I'm interacting with are people who have like 10 plus years on me.
No, statistics is one of those things that's great to learn, and you go, oh, this is really great when you're studying it, and then when you're all done with it, you go, what the hell did I just take?
Well, see, now I did something called social development studies back in the day. It was a precursor to a social work degree, and we had to take statistics. But what I found to be even more useful was the companion course of statistical analysis. And I use that regularly when I'm debating all kinds of people who like, blah, blah, here's a study. And I'm like, and here's why your study is shit.
Well, let me ask Brian a question here. By the way, have we it sounds weird, but have we talked before, Brian? I don't remember.
Oh, good to meet you.
We haven't before ever?
I don't think we've spoken yet. So
okay, because I know everybody in the Great Debate community. So first of all, how'd you find us?
I was actually in another community. I'm trying to think of the name of it. And they kind of settled down. They didn't post nearly as much, and I got a little bit bored of it. And then I saw the King Crocoduck debate, and I heard the name Great Debate Community, and I kind of sought you guys out, asked to join. People let me in, and thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, good job. That's what we like to hear. You see, this is how it's supposed to work, people. Yay! So, but I do got a question for you, since you're a statistics expert. You might know one of our well, they're not a member of the Great Debate, but somebody we talk about frequently by the name of Ronnie, True Empiricism. Remember that name?
Oh yeah, TE. I know True Empiricism. Yeah, I know.
All right, good. So this is an unbiased, straight up question. He maintains. We want your expert opinion here. Okay. He maintains that in order to get a true sample of what scientists actually believe as far as the evolutionary process and evolutionary theory be true, the only way to get a representative sample of accuracy is to go and ask every single scientist.
That's nonsense. That's complete. You're like, I've literally got. Let me grab a blank test. Like I've got. Just give me 10 seconds.
Go for it. No, I'm with you. Go ahead. That's awesome. This is something he's advocated. I'm not exaggerating. He has said the only way you can get a true representative sample is you ask every single scientist.
Where did I put? Oh, they're in my bag. I put the blank ones in my bag. This is intro. Oh, I don't want to show too much. I don't know if this will get. I don't want to show everything about me.
Well, you're using your name.
Yeah. So, you got sampling. This is a blank test, but I don't know what you can see of it. But it's got like sampling methods down there, like stratified cluster sampling.
Yeah.
I teach this stuff on stratified cluster. That's just basic stuff. Simple random sample, systematic. Then you would have a census. If you talk to everyone, you have a census. And what matters more about sampling is not the sample size. It's the representative nature of the sample, and if the sample is unbiased. So if you can show you don't have an undercoverage bias, a non-response bias, or a response bias, which is not really in the sampling method, but in the way the questions are phrased, which would go to your survey questions. So sample size is kind of irrelevant to because that just leads to statistical power, which is controlled by alpha.
You don't want question loading, and you want a random samples. You want to represent. You want to
Can we
represent.
keep you?
I know, really. It's gonna keep you. You're never leaving.
I can go. I can go.
But but we
Yeah,
do.
so no, that's completely wrong. Sorry, that's why.
Thank you very much. And we
We
all
know that. They don't know that.
Yeah, but obviously though, to get at least a representation of what people actually do believe, there is some methodology goes down there. We actually figured out you only need about 2,000 some odd scientists to get a good sample size of what scientists actually believe. That's actually what the math worked out to be.
Well, Steve, if you want to show, I posted the link over there into that.
Oh, you got a video on this, Ned?
Yeah, that would. Well, it was the discussion that I had with him that I put him up for Dumb Fuck of the Year.
That's true.
What's funny is though on the other end of it, then he says if you have too large of a sample, then it starts to degrade. So it has to be right in that sweet spot. Yeah. So apparently, if like you were saying, if you got a sample size of 100% of the population, that would be one of the least accurate methodologies you could use, which is just you really need to read that conversation I had. I posted
it's mind-boggling what he was suggesting.
Oh, it was amazing. My wife is an OR specialist. She's got a PhD in OR, so operations research. So we're both math people, and it was just it was horrible, man. So.
I was going to throw in one last.
So far, I've been in the hangout for more than 5 seconds.
Woo!
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to throw in one last thing with all this sampling stuff, because the biggest thing is the mathematics behind it, and depending on how you base on finite populations versus infinite populations, and what's going to happen as you get a larger sample size is you're going to decrease the margin of error of your confidence interval, which is going to make them tighter and give you a better understanding. And so, yeah, I don't know where he's going with all that, but TE just seems to be.
See, but this is what happens. People like Brian use big words to confuse people. So people like, regular Spuckatellis don't understand this stuff. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
No variance inflation factor, multicollinearity, analysis of covariance, all that.
You lost me at chi-squared.
No, don't say that. Don't say chi-squared.
Understand how to get the circumference of the diameter of pi and the correct units where it was used originally by the Greeks and the Hebrews.
Oh, that's a better one. How about this one? He maintains that the value of pi changes depending on what system of measurement you use. So pi in yards is different from pi in meters or whatever measurement you use. Wrap your head around that one, though.
Okay, I'm a complete mathematical dummy, and even I know that's bullshit.
Pi is just a fact. I mean, it is what it is.
No, it's not. Tau's better than pi.
Yeah, I'm a Taoist.
Oh, you're Taoist.
Yeah, I'm a Taoist. Yeah. Well,
I don't want to hijack the hangout. I've talked a lot. You guys keep going. I don't
talk. No, God bless you. You're new. I talked to these motherfuckers for years. Okay, so we're all. This is, by the way, this is our alternate channel. This is the Great Debate Community alternate channel. This is the community channel. That's why we don't have much people watching. We have like 15. My main channel gets like 100 people watching. So we're just having our own little side thing right now.
Cool.
Away from the everything else.
Well, it's a new venture as well. So people haven't found it yet.
Well, we need to get the watch link out there because I have no idea where the watch link was or even how to find it.
It was in the Great Debate Community.
Oh, that's probably why I didn't see it.
Yeah, I put it in some other places, but this channel only has like
my pants.
Subs. I try to stay out of your pants.
You do a good job.
Yeah, you can get lost out there.
I've been distracted. Sorry, I've been looking at fishing stuff because I showed you what I was using. So I've been talking. I talked to Lance Renew, the marine biologist that I know, and he just messaged me a little while ago because I want to expand my horizons with fishing. So I think that got me thinking because we were talking about.
What are you using? 3-inch leader?
Huh?
Is that 3-inch leader?
This is a 9-inch. It's coiled. That's why. I'm not sure why they show it like that, but it's a 9-inch heavy duty because there's alligator gar around the corner. So fishing stuff, Mia Khalifa. No, I need steel leaders for alligator gar and actual alligators. So I have to spend a little bit of money, and first I have to find said money, then I have to spend said money and get a proper rig set up.
Become a flat earther. I'm telling you, we can make a fortune if we become flat earthers.
I need to like make a flat Earth account and just say the wildest shit. Like you can shoot a reverse fucking azimuth off of your ass in the moonlight if you have a glass of milk and 3 teepees.
I think we come up with some pretty creative shit.
You don't have to make sense. You can say the most stupidest shit in the world.
Dragon, fortunately, we have something that a lot of people don't have. It's called honor and ethics. We so it's kind of sucky that we can't do stuff like that. But we get Tyler Durden there. Tyler Durden is a Satanist. He has no ethics, so he can do it.
He can do it. Like I got shit for criticizing the guy who was telling women that periods are natural. I got criticized for that by people on the internet.
What?
Yes.
What? Explain that one.
Yes. Remember I was telling you about the Hoteps and the Black Hebrew Israelites and those community guys. Okay, there's a midget named Yada, Y-A-D-A, and he's a huge health nut. Think of vegan on steroids, but like half the height. And so he is one of these guys who says, well, if you pick up water and it has a slight pH, then it's going to throw off your pH, but that's couched within I say this in quotes, understanding that your whole body is supposed to be alkaline.
He's one of those people that think cancer is due to your body being too basic.
Yeah. Okay. So he's one of those guys who thinks his whole alkaline diet shit, has no idea that different systems within the body possess different. Some are basic, some are acidic. Fucking DNA. But like it's you can't tell them the obvious shit like that, because then they get upset because they worship certain luminaries within these communities, and I'm just like, you all are fucking stupid. I can't be nice because some of them are just so fucking belligerent that I can try at first and try to have some kind of patience like with G-Man, but eventually it's just like, fuck it, just no, you're just dumb.
And literally half the man that you are.
That goes back a long ways. I think
comes up to about dick height.
There was a doctor way back when, back in the 90s, early 90s that I remember, and I think her name was Dr. Cook, but she actually believed that cancer was due to your body being basic and by parasitic infections called flukes, and that you would make these little box and you'd hold on to these little electrodes, and what this box did was produce this high frequency, low current through your body. And what it was supposed to, in theory, cause these flukes to resonate at a specific frequency and die. It was the most god-awful bullshit theory of the history of man. But people actually would come into Radio Shack and want to buy the parts for this little machine.
Actually, you know what? That sounds an awful lot like Scientology and an e-meter.
Exactly.
It was exactly. It was not. There wasn't much difference. The only difference was on an e-meter you have a scale, right? You have a meter.
Right.
This was just, but it was the same principle. You're holding on these electrodes. The theory was, it's going to cause a resonance harmonic to go through your body and kill the parasites. Now, there's a lot of obviously, technical jargon, but the reality was it would never have worked.
Yeah.
First of all, it would have killed yourselves at the same time.
I would love to find somebody like that, and every time they talked about flukes, I'd be like, no, body thetans. No, flukes.
It
no,
was a
body
difference.
thetans.
So,
body thetans or Mandela effect?
That too, or just to fuck with them, just be like, no, it's body thetans, damn it.
So the e-meter, is it measuring the amount of current that's passing through your body? I guess based on the
it measures how hard you grip the shit.
Oh,
galvanic resistance, because your grip will change how much resistance you have.
You're holding two little vice meters, and depending on how hard you squeeze it, the lower your rating.
I really want to get my hands on one of these because I am positive I can totally beat it. You know, I have them convinced that I'm like the reincarnation of fucking L. Ron Hubbard or something.
Don't you live down east? You could just like walk down Young Street and you'll find a
We-
Scientologist clinic.
Well, no, the local org is in the next town over.
We got one around the corner. Just about. We just drove by it the other day called Goal Base Alpha.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you guys live out there.
We got a real
But
big
no,
one down in California.
I'd have to go. Like, I could go to Cambridge. There's one there, and there's a big org in Toronto. But I want to. I actually just bought a hidden camera pen thing, and I want to go and do like the stress test. Because, well, you can do the stress test online, but they won't give you a result. You have to show up in person to get the results. So I am actually working on going and doing that, like with a hidden camera and stuff, just to see
Why not?
what will happen. Yeah.
Stress test?
Yeah, they used to do personality tests, but now they've changed it to like a stress test.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
it's no matter no matter how you answer, they always start the same way.
Well,
no matter what
like,
you answer, you're always going to be somebody who's has unresolved conflict in their life, somebody who's had a traumatic history,
and they can fix it. That's always what it's going to come down to. So, like, I was thinking, like, even doing something like getting someone else to do the test and then showing up and being like, oh, hi, it's me, and showing like it's total bullshit because, well, no, I didn't actually do the test, and etc.
Yeah. So, Brian, what else have you taught, by the way? I mean, any other science courses or just maths?
I just do math. I just do math and statistics. That's my gig.
You got a great radio voice. You know that?
Well, thank you. No,
yeah, you should do this more often. I'm not using your voiceovers for some of my videos.
Well, you see, I guess these get posted because I would see if I could ask Kent Hovind one question, I would simply ask him, explain to me what a p-value is. That would be my only question to him.
He would not know what a p-value or significant alpha was. We've been down that route.
Oh, you have?
Okay. I've known Ken for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We all have. Often.
I've actually spoken to Eric. That's a side story.
He's been on a few times too. Ken does not know any about these things. He's never taken statistics. So if you ask him, if you were to say, Ken, can you tell what's the difference between type 1 and type 2 error? No idea. You'd be vacuous, right? He doesn't know these things.
False negative based on alpha and beta relative to your curves based on the truth. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, whether you fail to falsify, fail to reject the null hypothesis. Yeah. We all have statistics, but that was like 30 years ago. But anyways, when he says he taught science, Brian, he's only taught creation science in the back of a church in a little foyer with high school age students. That's it. That's his total experience of teaching. He had a few years of community college. He knows absolutely nothing about any scientific topic. He just doesn't.
No, he knows about dark matter. Like he taught King Crocoduck in the hangout about dark matter.
Brian, KC thinks he's the dumbest person on the planet.
Brian, if you want some entertaining reading, you definitely need to look up his dissertation.
Yes. Oh, yes, I have, and that's
my God.
It's a travesty because
I've
done some.
Who starts their paper with "Hi, my name is such and such"?
By the way, Ozzy's let me point this out because Ozzy's right. Ozzy said it's like going to see a chiropractor. You've always been told you have subluxations in your spine. He is absolutely right. I have gone to a chiropractor, and I did not know what a subluxation was, which is bullshit. But of course, I had subluxations. But I got to tell you, he did a fine job in alignment. I actually did feel I could breathe more. I actually enjoyed it. I liked the manipulation. But is it going to cure anything?
What did he manipulate?
Ooh, that's for an off-air hangout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the subluxation bullshit is crap. It's just complete crap.
Well, you see, this is my biggest problem. I think a lot of people have this problem because I've done a little bit of PhD work. I'm nowhere near completing it, and who knows what I'll do with all that. But PhD work is hell. It's hard. It is life-consuming. What you have to contribute to your field to obtain a PhD, what is expected of you, the amount of knowledge you must acquire and then build upon. And then you look at his dissertation and you see what he put out there and you're like, this doesn't even pass as good high school work. And you're like, this man calls himself doctor, and it's a travesty. It's a disgrace.
I won't call him doctor at all.
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve it. I mean, that's I get
No.
the same feeling when people walk around when they go to what do they call it, the Army Surplus store, and they put on a pair of the fucking BDUs or the ACUs or whatever. You know, I had to earn that. I had to earn the right to wear that shit. And so when folks do that, I get pissed off, even though I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't fucking care. But there are folks who have earned the right to have letters behind their name or before their name, and Kent's not one of them. Like he's just not. I'm sorry.
But there are like, for example, like Brian, do you know Dr. Russell Humphreys?
Name sounds familiar.
He's a astrophysicist, cosmologist in the younger creationist circles.
Yes, sounds very familiar. I might
Okay.
remember that.
Crocodile did a video on him once. I've been corresponding with him. I'll call him doctor. You know, he's a legit PhD. I've corresponded recently with Jerry Bergman. We've talked to Dr. Tompkins, Anderson, you name it. We've talked to these doctors from the younger crowd, right? I will call them doctor because they have a legit PhD. No problem. Ken Hovind, no. Not even my world. I've slipped up once and I felt like I had to go seek penance.
See, I know PhDs. I want to state this for the record. I know many PhDs who are very religious, and I probably know some PhDs, I believe, who would say evolution's a bunch of bunk. They would tell me that. But the thing is, you know, it's not the vast majority, but that's an appeal to popularity. But still, it's just to focus in on him. His school was not accredited. It's a little bit of a degree mill, and so
it's a lot.
It's a lot of a degree mill.
I've seen a picture. It's a fucking trailer in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, we don't talk about your home like that.
I asked Kent that year ago or something. I said, you know about his thing. He said, well, if you don't want to call me doctor, just call me Kent. You know, and that's his way of getting out of it. Well, if you don't feel like I'm a real doctor, then just call me Kent. But it doesn't. He doesn't answer the real question: is why does he think he can actually be called doctor by anybody?
Yeah,
an honorary degree in a fake course.
Well, and that's all. That's every degree he has, including his anything. I mean, from undergrad all the way through, which he doesn't even hold it, from what I can tell, an undergrad anywhere. And you know, kind of what Brian was talking about. I mean, you know, my wife holds legitimate PhD, and watching her go through that and trying to help her to the little bit that I could. And I guarantee you, if I start calling him doctor, she'd probably divorce me. So, I mean, you want to talk about someone getting just absolutely livid. When I showed her that PhD, and she had just got hers after that, you know, when I showed her that first time, he better hope that he never runs into her on the street somewhere, because she will take him apart.
And that's what's the worst part is, like, you know, you got like Fiona, Fiona's a legitimate PhD. She's a molecular biologist. And PZ Myers, you know, embryologist. And then you have people like G-Man and Ronnie going, oh, well, I've had to correct them. I corrected them on so many things. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. And it's just like, oh shit, the DK is real.
It's different. They're autodidacts.
They're auto dipshits. I mean, I literally was watching that sad that Ronnie was having, and he was just so certain that he's corrected so many people, and he's like, Steve said I never corrected anybody. Yeah, I said that. It's a little bit of satire, a little bit of a, you know, hyperbole. But the reason I say that because he's never corrected anybody of any consequence.
You know what? I'll say that Ronnie has corrected me on every single thing I've ever said on the internet. Period. Even to my own mother. If that will make her happy, then I'll gladly take up that position. But he hasn't done anything with that knowledge. Like, it's funny because G-Man went on to say, oh, well, all these atheists with all these degrees aren't doing anything for society, which isn't true. I actually made a video where I shaved my fucking long ass goatee for charity for Gus. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. But what has Ronnie done with all these supposed corrections? How has Ronnie benefited the body of Christ, or how has he benefited even his local area? Can he name anything?
And worse is even on YouTube, nobody pays attention to him.
I think that's just sad. I mean,
except
now,
you, Steve.
Dude, I found out Drag and I are worshipped today. I'm thrilled about that.
Oh yeah, we have worshipers.
We're worshipers.
I get on the internet and make dick jokes.
He makes dick jokes, and I don't know what the hell I do. I just get on and talk shit. But yeah, that's the extent of everything, is that we get worshipped for that. But I did have a fanboy, I don't know, about a month ago. He's been coming in here recently. That guy, Kelser High something, the kid that does pot a lot. He had actually invited me into a hangout, not knowing who I was, but he liked the fact that I moderated Casey's debates. And I actually popped in, and he lost his shit. He's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you actually showed." I'm like, "What the hell? I got invited to a hangout." It's Steve. I haven't had women get that excited over me, unfortunately.
Well, you could work it, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. Have you seen the picture of Steve lately, Heretic?
Yeah, have you?
Yeah,
He looks like David Suzuki.
No, he looks like Billy Connolly.
No, he looks like every scientist from every shitty 70s sci-fi movie.
A friend of mine.
He looks like someone who has been in a ZZ Top tribute band just for 3 months.
A friend of mine who hasn't seen me in 3 years sent a message to another friend of mine when I went down to my old stomping ground and visit with Bruhif, and he didn't recognize. He's like, "Who's that?" And she's like, "That's Steve." He's like, "Oh shit, no, it's not." She's like, "Yeah, that's Steve."
I saw the picture on Facebook, and I was like, "Dude, looks like Billy Connolly."
I get the Billy Connolly. Look at.
Yeah, see.
I know who you look like. You look like You look like an not clean shaven AC Grayling. That's who you look like.
You got to remember though. Here's what you're missing out. 3 years ago, that picture that I used right there was only 3 years ago. Short hair, dark, not balding. My hair.
I remember you going on camera and you had a full head of brown hair, and now it's all gray.
My hair is this long, guys. It is literally down to my shoulders.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We're gonna get you some Just for Men's.
I'm gonna go brown. By the way, I'm not lying. I am drinking IPA.
I had my first IPA 2 days ago. Yeah, in a bar with my cousin.
I feel like sorry, go ahead. What?
No, I said I had I heard people talk about IPAs. I had never ever drank them ever in my life until a few days ago. It was my welcoming party. I think it was a place called Boondoggle or some shit like that. I don't. We were drinking all night. I don't remember. But it was my first time trying an IPA. I wish I could tell you what was in it, but it tasted very interesting.
Yeah, IPAs are very stout. They're very weedy. Like this one is 5.9% alcohol. Right.
Yeah.
It's only a 12-ounce can, so they're pretty loaded.
I'll just have to say for the.
I just feel like I find that very fascinating.
I just have to say for the record, I think beer is gross. So.
My wife says the same thing.
How the fuck are you Canadian?
I am the Nicola. We have not had this discussion.
We've had this discussion. You hate hockey. You hate winter, and now you hate beer. What the hell is wrong with you?
I am the world's shittiest Canadian. I also.
You really are.
I am. I don't. So
like
winter, hockey, beer. I don't like Tim Hortons coffee. Well, I don't
Do you
like.
at least say sorry when someone else bumps into you?
Yes.
There you go.
I do that. I will also say I don't hate, but I'm not a fan of the Hip or Rush. So I am the world's
You hear that,
shittiest
Steve?
Canadian.
She's blasphemed in this room.
One true test. You forgot
Canadian
the one
blasphemy.
true test. Do
What's
you
that?
like poutine?
No.
Canadian. Ozzy, you realize you just gave Ozzy a coronary.
Oh my goodness.
You're dead to me, heretic woman.
Oh my
sorry.
goodness.
You know what? If you didn't have mod controls, we probably would eject you at this point.
Fuck you.
You've been kicked out of the Canadian club. Although I'm not Canadian, so I don't give a
Hey, I have my lovely button, my A button. I have my I actually have the matching shirt too, but
I'll see if I can find the picture of my Patriot tattoo.
Poor Brian, he's like, a group of smart people. You guys are really like.
Oh, you're fine.
No, but I did test the sorry theory when I went to Ottawa for Canada Day, and it was packed, and you were bumping into each other like every 5 minutes, and yes, everyone said sorry all the time, all day.
You should listen to Hogtie say the word garage. It's great.
The garage.
The garage.
The garage. Yeah. Go up to the garage.
I have Southern friends that the first time I got in on Skype with them, and I was about to do a show with them. Yes, exactly. And my cat came in with a mouse, And so I was like, hang on a second, I have a mouse problem. And from then on, they tease me with, oh, you got a moose in your hoose?
You got a moose in the hoose.
Moose in the hoose.
By
Of course,
the way,
yeah.
What?
I was just going to say, fine.
We got lag. Go ahead. Do your thing. Go.
Okay, I was just going to say, he thought it was like my mouse problem, but then I had to show him the actual like half dead mouse. I'm like, I gotta throw this outside. Be right back.
Aaron Rod joked that Ken Hoven's PhD is less legitimate than Aaron's pastoral ordination. Probably true.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets better because Hogtie Champ and I both got PhDs from places that accept accreditation from the place that he got his honorary PhD would accept accreditation from where we got our quote unquote real PhDs in creation sciences.
So you have an official PhD in creation science?
Yeah. However official that is.
Wow, that's
how do you wrong. So who do you suck off to get that?
Yeah.
I just had to pay some money.
You had to pay money.
How much did it cost you?
Like, okay.
Well,
hey, where can you get that? I want one.
Since he does have a PhD in it, I guess he would be one of the proliferators of PhDs. So,
can he bestow PhDs upon other people?
I guess that's maybe where you would go.
It's just like getting knighted.
I want a PhD in science.
It
I want one
down
too.
From generation to generation.
I'll take an honorary PhD.
Hell yeah.
You must pledge fealty to Ken Ham.
I would never take the name doctor, though. That would be bullshit.
No.
You see, and I think that's...
Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm going to head out and have a second here. Thank you so much for having me in and being so welcoming. Very appreciative and very nice meeting you all. I think Dreadnought, I saw you kind of putting G-Man in his place a little bit in one of the... When he joined in after the King Crocoduck thing, you were speaking to him and saying, hey, G-Man, we've talked about these things, right? That was you, correct?
Yeah, the icon that I have here is a rendition, I guess, or a representation of the time we spent at the American Science Museum in New York, where I fucking dragged him around and tried to educate him on the things that he still fucks up to this day. So, yeah.
No, I liked that. That was one of my big takeaways from that discussion, because he just went on, and you were like, look, we go over this. And then he kept going after KC saying, well, you think Pluto is evidence for evolution. And it's like, no, that's not what was said. And that's kind of been my experience, especially with preachers and stuff on campus, that I'll maybe explain to them how randomness works. That's one of my big things I try to explain to people, is how randomness can actually achieve a goal. Because they tell me randomness can never achieve a goal. So I'll explain them the steps by which randomness directed towards a goal can achieve a goal, even though it's random. I won't get into it all here. But I'll explain it to them. We'll agree on it. I'll see them a month later, and then they'll be saying the same thing again. It's like everything is lost.
Do they know about chaos theory?
Do what?
Do they know about chaos theory and strange attractors? And
that goes a little bit above my pay grade.
I like that kind of shit. I think it's fascinating. I do believe that there's an order in chaos, but I do believe that fundamentally at the quantum level, because you have Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, that there is a level that you can get to that is just unknown. I mean, what Gene, a Planck's time, Planck's scale, you're dealing with things that have so much uncertainty that appears random. But I don't believe in a hidden variable model. I do believe that doesn't satisfy the Bellian quality. So I do believe the Copenhagen interpretation, but I still think there is a orderness to the chaos. Does that make sense? So I think you're right on that. I think deep down there's some order there, and you can't get something end goal through randomness. Absolutely, we see those with what those patterns called for the oscilloscope, the Legerdus patterns.
I do not know. Go ahead.
I can't remember what they're called. The patterns on the oscilloscope, you got a ratio of 2 to 3 little lobes.
Oh yes.
Those actually harmonics. If you take a pendulum and show, it'll actually produce a very specific pattern. But it's based upon a random harmonic from the initial letting go of the pendulum. It's really fascinating shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm an idiot, so what do I know?
one of the key examples I use are genetic algorithms, which are basically like computer simulations that can achieve goals. And they just use randomness. It's pure random number generation. So randomness can actually solve problems, beat video games. Really cool guy. You guys can look this up. I'm heading out in 1 minute.
Do they actually have a real RNG? Because every time you have an RNG in computers, it's not really a true RNG. It's a simulated RNG.
There's discussion. Random numbers have come a long way because it's very hard to tell a computer to be random because you have to program a computer, and then what they'll often use like the clock or stuff like that. But I've heard ways with using white noise, or there's a lot of different ways they're doing it now that they believe is more true randomness, but a lot of times we'll call it pseudo randomness.
Right, I would call it pseudo because I wouldn't call it pure randomness, but it's a hell of a lot more effective than using like the internal clock.
Yeah, and I guess if you were to look at random number generation 0 through 9, you should get uniform distributions, flat, even distributions with millions of simulations. I don't know. Hopefully you see no patterns, because if it's true randomness, then there's no patterns. So
right, now you end up with okay, you're the stats guy. I'm trying to remember here. I'm a little bit buzzed, but what was the name of the law that they used for when they could tell people are cooking the books? Because the fact that when people cook the books, they use certain number frequencies that are not typical when you find a natural distribution, and they use. I think
you'll see people won't usually put zeros on stuff. People are very afraid of putting zeros. They don't think it sounds real,
right?
So you won't see a lot of zeros. I know that about where people fake numbers. You don't see a lot of zeros.
I wish I remember the name of that law.
I've never heard it. If you do find it out, tell me, and I'll bid everyone adieu. Thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna head out because it's
I'll toss it to you. It's Brown's law or something about it is how they use to determine people are making fake cook the books because it's not a normal distribution. But anyways, hey, before you go, I have Casey coming on the 11th. Do you want to join the after show?
That'd be great. That'd be great. The 11th.
You know who he is. Yeah, I mean, have you talked to him before?
I have not talked to Casey. I have much respect for him.
Come in on the after show. I'll save you a seat.
Sure, I'll get a little bit nicer looking. I'll shave. So, thank you very much. Good speaking with everybody.
Yeah, I love how Steve looks like a disembodied head.
I like it on the fire. You want me to have the fire?
Whatever.
What is the name? I hate not remembering shit. What the hell is the name of that law that they use for?
I don't know. Google it.
What the hell am I going? Oh God,
I don't fucking know.
Where's Ronnie when you need him?
How long are we doing this for? It's we've been at this like almost 2.5 hours.
It's
all
up to you.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
Like you could just pass around mods and then fuck off and just
I could do that.
Go.
I might.
Well, she has to stay in the room or go out there.
No, it won't.
Well, her account would have to stay in the room.
No.
Yeah. Her account.
No.
Well, that's not
when I do my show, I can leave and come back, and the hangout doesn't go anywhere.
There's a 5-minute interval where the host can leave.
I'm pretty sure I've been out longer than 5 minutes when my computer crashed before.
Oh, it's called Bedford's Law.
Oh, there you go.
I guess it's
Bedford's Law. Hey, look, I've been in for more than 5 seconds.
Whee!
Yeah, Bedford's Law is the law that they use that shows a natural distribution of numbers in accounting. And so when people are cooking the books, they tend, like he said, not to use zeros and other things, and they can tell that these are forgeries. Called Bedford's Law.
What does cooking the book mean? What are you guys talking about? I'm not sure I follow.
Cooking the books means when you have when you're taking an accounting course, you learn that you have these ledgers, and each ledger is an accounting of all the transactions, all your deductions, and everything else. And some businesses will keep 2 sets of books, one for the IRS and one for themselves, in order to try to prevent paying taxes and other things.
Or what will soon to be called Exhibit A in Donald Trump's Trump.
Yeah, it's called cooking the book. Highly illegal. It's called double book.
We don't speak of God Emperor Trump with
Something tells me Kent Hovind is very familiar with that.
I'm thinking.
He probably has done double books. Yeah. I doubt it. But no, if you want to end the hangout, I don't care.
Hey,
good night, folks.
After show.
You guys want to have a rum and coke night?
I'm about to head out anyway, guys. I gotta go to bed.
I didn't ask you.
I'm already half cut, so I can go either way.
There you go.
Doctor, you want to have a rum and coke night?
Sure.
Let me ask the audience. If I get 3 people in the live chat to say rum and coke night, I'll have it.
There you go.
3 people.
Start chugging your beer. I'm pretty sure the decision has been made.
I got 4 more to go, and they're stout. Holy shit, these fuckers stout. I'm 2 down. That's like 4 beers already because they're potency.
Oh, somebody's demanding a link, but I don't know if they mean.
We got 2 rum and coke so far. I need 1 more.
Okay.
3. There we go.
There you go.
I'm gonna go run out in the middle of the night and play
Naked?
Pokemon.
Gonna run out naked.
What kind of Pokemon?
I have to put clothes on out here.
All right, guys. I'll be having rum and no coke night in a few minutes. But let's see if she can end this properly. How you gonna end your broadcast? You gotta have some nothing novel.
Fuck, I don't know. I have an outro I play on my show, so I don't have to think about that shit.
Yeah, I got to think about that.
Okay.
Just apologize to everyone for being not having an outro.
Apologize for the hangout. Yeah, we go. Perfect. I love that.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry for everything we did in the stupid fucking hangout, and we'll see you next time.